Fancy seeing you here. All right, Jason.
Oh, hello. I'm Jason, and I'm running a Star Wars game using a PBTA playset by Andrew Medeiros. You can find it online if you look for Omega World, because the man does not want to be sued by the mouse, and I can't blame him. But it's just really good. It's a playset that it does kind of assume that you know a little bit about Apocalypse World. So if there are any gaps there, I can fill it in because I know a little bit about Apocalypse World. But it is otherwise a fairly easy to use PBTA playset. It's got all the good playbooks and stuff. I'm Jason. I've got a couple different scenarios that our group is going to decide on, and then we're going to play a Star Wars. Who do we have here?
I'm Tim.
I'm Jim. I'm Chris / Burke.
I was hoping you were going to go with Slim or something. Jim, and
I'm Bim.
Hi, I'm Kimmy. I'm just running the tech for a few minutes.
Kim.
Yeah. Me too. It's nice. I like that.
We're going to just wait for Kimmy to get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Sorry.
Jesus. No, just kidding.
Okay.
No girls allowed.
I didn't know that was in the rule set. I'm leaving.
No, it's not. But Kimmy does have somewhere better to be. So she's getting us set up, and then we're going to, once we are self-sufficient, which is not possible without Kimmy, but...
I'll be coming back and checking.
Yeah, she's going to let us roll and then babysit us from afar.
Babysit is such an appropriate term.
It is.
So, while she's getting set up, I have a couple different scenarios we can do, and I'll let you pick from them. Both of them are loosely around the Clone Wars series. If you haven't seen it, it's not a big deal, but the animated series, I really like it. And the whole concept of the Clone Wars, the Clone War, is, I don't know, I find it fascinating. So, one option I have is, at the end of the Clone Wars, spoiler, there's Order 66. Is everyone familiar with that part of the Star Wars? Not everyone knows about that. In Order 66, if you don't know, if you're not a Star Wars geek,
I'm sorry.
Well, there are parts of it that are okay to leave out. But Order 66 is the self-destruct psychological chip that was in all the clones' brains, apparently. And when they were given Order 66, they had to turn and kill every Jedi they could find. And one idea I have for that is you all are clone troopers, maybe with a Jedi or without. You were on a covert mission, radio silent, when Order 66 went out. And since then, you guys are coming back, all the clones are killing Jedi, and you're like, what? Why? What? Why is this happening? And you're coming back trying to figure out, well, the Jedi are dead, and maybe how you can help them out, because the clones were really friendly with the Jedi. I mean, they were their generals and their commanders, and the without that sort of personality override, they never would have done that. So there are also a bunch of clones who were regretting their they didn't have a choice in it, but they were sort of mind controlled to do something horrible. So that would be kind of part of that story, is you coming back and having to do sort of a covert, maybe you're trying to figure out, there are a lot of directions you could take with that. It's not really okay, now we're on this train and we're going to follow these rails. So that the seed of that idea is you were away and missed Order 66, and now you're coming back finding out what's happening. So there's that option. There's also one of the most niche things I can fanboy about is the entire Battle of Umbara in the Clone Wars series, where they're battling on the shadow planet of Umbara, and the clone army is betrayed, and there's a whole sort of back and forth, and the army. The clone army and the Umbaran armies are just completely wiped out, and over a planet that ended up not mattering that much, and it was just an opportunity for generals and people to abuse each other, and it was just a horrible. It was like the Clone Wars Vietnam, right?
Yeah, we're throwing lives at nothing.
Yeah, they didn't need to be there, and everything went wrong, and just ultimate suffering. But out of that, I've imagined a version of the first like kernels of the rebellion of like Umbaran freedom fighters. They're those sort of like purple skin. They're all bald and they have like various little like tattoos or scarification or like depending on what part. And they see in the dark because the planet's in darkness all the time.
Right.
So we have the opportunities for like beat up clones, maybe like an ostracized Jedi or maybe a lost Padawan or something, and local like Umbaran. So what we have is like they're flying like bombing sorties and sort of it's a little bit like Night Witches if you've played that where it's Night Witches built around the Russian women who flew bombing runs in World War II. And we're freaking heroes. Like it was a pretty epic story, actually. So the game.
There's a Ellis comic about them, I believe, right?
I've heard good things about it. I haven't read it, but
Really?
yeah.
Well, just like everything he does, it's a little rapey at points, but
I mean,
it's still an amazing read.
Yeah, but I mean that's a true part of that story.
It's a true
too.
part of
Like,
that story.
The women were abused.
Yeah, they were horribly abused.
Yeah, that was not a good situation. But the story of it is really interesting, and there's a whole game around that sort of. So it's not that we're going to switch to the Night Witches system, but it is a also like mid-war. So the Clone War, the clones coming back after Order 66 is much more post-war. Like we're out of open battle. The facade of the Confederated systems is fallen. Like everyone like is confused as to what's happening, but like the war is just over.
Right.
And the the Emperor has said, "Aha! I fixed it." Like, no, you pushed both buttons.
Yeah, you nuked everybody.
You blew it all to hell. So that's a big confusing thing, but the war is essentially over. And if we do like post Battle of Umbara, the war is still going on, but it's tailing off, and the remnants of Umbara will sort of go on to become one of the beginning factions of the rebellion. So you're doing bombing sorties and trying to infiltrate. So both is a little bit covert flavored, depending on how you do it. If you want to bring the bazookas, we'll bring the bazookas. But
who gave Eli a bazooka? That was literally something was said in the game I played.
What was it?
Who gave Eli a missile launcher?
Yeah.
It's alright, I don't have any missiles. Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you give Eli a missile launcher, he's gonna use it.
He's gotta use it.
Yeah, I mean it's Chekhov's launcher at that point.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you don't launch a missile, what have you done?
It's true.
Real life is basically
do either of those feel more attractive than the other one?
They both sound super fun.
Yeah, I kind of like sort of like the idea of like this Air America kind of Vietnam feel in the middle of the war, doing covert shit that you probably shouldn't be doing. So it's a little bit roguish but still part of an established military thing. So that kind of makes me happy. But also I've read a bunch of novels that cover what happened to like rogue Jedi or clones that failed to follow Order 66. It's one of my favorite narrative parts of the extended canon. So I'm excited about that too. Either one works great.
I'm good with either.
Yeah, I mean, I would happily play either one of those. It sounds super fun. The clone one sounds really interesting to me, just because I think it's kind of a cool idea of
The Order 66.
Order 66.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think that is a really interesting concept. But like I said, I'm happy with both.
I'd say I'm gonna lean with you on the post-war one, just because there's a lot of great psychological stuff that you can do with the clones in general, because they're sort of soldiers wrapped up in an adult's body dealing with all kinds of crazy shit,
Yeah.
which is super fun to deal with. Also, once all the rules fall apart and the Jedi are being hunted, if you're with a Jedi, you're basically with a Jedi that no longer has those rules other than their own personal adherence to the Jedi code. So it's free and wild, so you can explore a lot about that kind of option as a Jedi, even as a Padawan. So there's a lot of stuff you can work with there, I think, that we can use.
If we do that one, I will want one of you to be either a Jedi or Padawan, but I don't want to have both. So either the Jedi went out without a Padawan, or we've lost the Jedi and we only have the Padawan, or I'd like to have that kind of dynamic in there, but I don't want to have a Jedi and a Padawan and one clone trooper. It feels a little weird. And then maybe there'll be a couple of NPCs with you as well, just to get things started. But those are some options. And in the other one, we could have like nobody has to play a Jedi. Like if you're like, oh, I don't want to play a Jedi. In the Umbaran one, it's much easier. Like no one has to do it, but somebody could. That's much more optional. For the post-war one, we definitely need a Jedi or Padawan for it to sort of like add up and go somewhere. Because like a couple of lost clone troopers without a Jedi are just gonna get,
Hey, how's it going? Oh yeah, come on the ship, have some lunch.
Yeah, right. So, should we just go with the post-war?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do that.
Missed Order 66. Okay, cool. So we have our playbooks here. All of these can map to different clones all had different jobs, right? There was like the heavy weapons and the pilots and the even though they were clones, they all had
Let me throw some dazzling nerd data at you.
Yeah.
So there have been several noted instances where the troopers did deny Order 66. For the most part, those were ARC troopers or Republic Commando troopers.
Yeah.
So they were usually the ones that were very high end and trained to have more independent thought than your regular straight up infantry clone trooper. So what we're dealing probably with, if we are running a couple of troopers, are either ARC troopers or commandos. Because they're the only ones that really had the force of will to really resist those orders, and the ones that worked directly with Jedi and had a more personal relationship.
And would be selected to go on a covert ops, radio silent,
Exactly, because they're the ones that are trained to act independently and make their own decisions.
Right.
What were the ARC troopers again?
ARC troopers, the ARC troopers were advanced recon troopers.
Okay. They also got jetpacks.
They also got jetpacks.
Jetpacks are sick. Okay.
Cool. They were part of it. There were two special programs to create basically commando troopers, and there were one. The other one were the Republic Commando troopers, and those were once featured in a video game. But they were the deep covert operative types, and there was one where actually one of those troopers fell in love with a Jedi Padawan, and they had a kid. And,
oh, right.
Yeah,
I missed that one. You can actually tell me about that later.
That's cool.
Okay, so the playbooks, I have 4 that can be Force users. The Adept is iffy at best. Like, this is usually used to play an untrained Force user. They could be like a Padawan, but really this is like a Force witch, more like the witches of
Dathomir?
Yeah, Dathomir. It's really built to be that, but we could bend it, right? Like if it feels like, oh, I want this Jedi who's kind of on the edge at this point, like.
Also, it could be a Force user that a Jedi found, took on as a Padawan during the battle, independently of the order,
absolutely.
and then just like, I'm in the middle, I was just getting trained, I don't know nothing, Force lightning, darkness!
Exactly.
That's the fall behind. Like, let's do Force lightning.
The other 3 are built to be, sort of proper Jedi. The Sentinel is like our stealth Jedi, I forget what they were. I don't think they were called the Sentinels.
Yeah, the Jedi Sentinels.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Jedi Sentinels, Jedi Guardians, and Jedi
Consular. Yeah, well, that's what we have here.
Yeah.
So the Guardian is built to be the like the Paladin Jedi with the get in there with they have all like the lightsaber battle moves, and so if that's your favorite thing about Jedi, that's the thing. And then the Consular is like got some healing and is very convincing.
Counselor Yoda. Guardian more
like Mace Windu.
Obi-Wan is the greatest Jedi of all time, and everybody knows it. He killed all the big bad guys.
And Sentinel would probably be actually like Ahsoka Tano is probably like
she's
essentially Sentinel material, not an official Sentinel, but somebody who uses the Force to be a little stealthy, not necessarily stab people in the back because that's straight up evil, but
well, no, they're the ones that are supposed to be the spies and the information gatherers and that kind of stuff.
Right. So those are the Jedi playbooks, and we need somebody to play exactly one of those. Is anyone dying to be the Force user?
Anybody want to be a Force user?
I'd do it if nobody else wants to.
Which Force user would you like to be?
Well, if we're doing a covert mission, I'd probably be a Sentinel.
I think that is a brilliant idea.
Yep, they would be top of the list for something like this. Oh, everybody needs the moves sheet as well.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so almost all of these are appropriate for our clones. There's just one. Actually, there's two that I'm going to pull out. So the ace is your pilot, right? If somebody wants to focus on being a pilot. The bounty hunter, it would fit your ARC trooper, right? They have the option for the jetpack and all that kind of stuff. The gearhead is, we can definitely have a techie, a tech clone. Medic, easy. Now, the noble usually has a bunch of soldiers under her command, and the officer is the same. And we're not going to have a ton of soldiers available. So the officer also has a capital ship. Okay, no, we don't have a capital ship. So thank you for coming. That doesn't work for.
Hold on, if I can't play those, I want to. No.
Yeah. Well, if we did the Umbaran one, those fit a little bit better, because we have bombing runs and all that.
That's typical play.
Yeah.
We're here to sort of simulate typical play, and that is very typical.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever it is you don't want, Jim,
Why can't
I want
play
to take that and I want to make that my bitch. That's exactly.
The operative is another great playbook that's certainly set up to be a spy, and we definitely can have a clone who's had received special training to be a sniper and stealthy and all that kind of stuff. So the scoundrel would be the clone who's starting to think on the edge a little bit of wait, we're effed in the A. How do we deal with this situation? This is a clone who's gone around the edge a little bit.
Right.
And then the trooper is just a classic blast 'em great playbook for this scenario.
Right.
So you two get to pick between those if anything jumps out at you.
If at all possible, I'd not like to play Dumb Brute because
Sure.
I've done that 5 times this weekend.
What I recommend is my one rule is that the two of you don't pick the gearhead and the medic. Right.
So you have someone with a thing, right?
Yeah, we need that. The Sentinel is an okay fighter, but is not a guardian, and we would probably want somebody who can handle a serious weapon of some kind.
If you want to play the Jedi, I can play it.
No. It's cool.
No, I'll do the dumb brute, but I'll go bounty hunter.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's our ARC trooper.
I think I will probably play the medic. I think that's a good
Okay.
idea.
Yeah, having the gearhead or the medic is a good idea.
Right.
They're both very good playbooks, but both of them in the same game with 3 players is you'll be a little bit hamstrung. So, cool. I may reference some of these with your NPCs. Okay, so on your playbook you have on the left there's some stuff you get to pick. It'll say choose 1 or choose 3 of these or whatever. You'll want to go through and look at that. On the left, there's a bunch of suggestions for names. I'd like you to come up with clones. You need to come up with a 4-digit number,
Right.
and a call sign. So you'll come up with something for that. Jedi, your name will probably depend on what race you are. It's however you want to do that is fine. There are no racial stat changes or anything like that. So the race that you want to play is just a storytelling choice.
Okay.
It's just fine. But if you're thinking oh well, should I be a Twi'lek or a Duros or whatever, just pick whatever you like. And there's some options for picking your look. So eventually we'll go through and introduce everybody and who your characters are. Your stats reference the list of attributes on the back, and so they all start at these numbers, and then you get to add 2. So you could do a +2 to one of your stats, or spread it out as 2 + 1s. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the general things of what each one means? Canny, cool, deep, rugged.
So
stuff.
canny is your smarts, right? So if you're trying to figure out something via smarts, or think of something historically or strategically, that's going to be canny. Cool is what the pilot is using to be cool under pressure, right? And anyone can benefit from having being able to hold up under pressure. Deep is your ability to plug into the Force. Anyone can do that, right? You're particularly skilled in it, but anyone can do the move called Trust Your Feelings. and roll deep to get a little intuition of how to move forward with this. Rugged is your blast 'em up, like punch, shoot, whatever it is. Rugged's how we get there, and suave is how convincing you are. Right? If you're not good at communicating with people, put a low number in suave. But your stats start on those on that baseline that's listed, and then you get 2 plus 2s. I think everybody gets 2 plus 2s. Yeah. I mean 2 plus 1s. Sorry.
Yeah.
that's a very now it's demigods.
Right.
And then the gear. Everyone's gear is pretty wildly different. So there are instructions there. Like the ace here has hand weapon, choose one, and then like the mercer. What do you like? The bounty hunter build. Yeah. Our arc trooper has like pick 14 different weapons.
Yeah.
And a jetpack. So. It's up to you if you want to pick the jetpack, because on the covert mission, maybe you had a jetpack, or maybe it was like not a good idea to be firing off a jetpack.
Well, you never know. I mean, we don't have to stick 100% everything. There could have been like specially designed gear for this mission that I'm carrying.
That's true.
That's basically a concealed jetpack that pops out of a backpack or something like that.
Absolutely.
I want one of those in real life.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Yeah. The second that any jetpack is approved by the FAA as
Right. I am there.
Yeah.
I'm like going, but it's like nitroglycerin on your back. I am there.
Worth it.
The same with as soon as there's any sort of like approved like skill chip surgery where you can just like plug in a skill to your brain.
yeah.
Like, I'm there. I'm there. Like,
Jack me in.
every language skill, like I want all of that stuff.
Yeah. I know kung fu.
Yes. Okay. So the other thing on the front page are your bonds. Let's do that last. You're going to fill those in with the other players at the table. I'll maybe outline a couple of NPCs if you want to have. We'll have a couple NPCs. Like we'll have your pilot, and you're the medic.
Yeah.
So we'll have like a pilot and a gearhead who are on the ship coming back as well.
Cool.
And we'll have the 5 of you.
Yeah, Ace was another thing I was looking at too.
Yeah.
Because it is somewhat fighty.
Yep.
But I didn't know how much spaceship combat we were going to
Well,
do.
their skills also apply to speeders and landcraft and anything
Well, how much
else.
vehicle stuff we were going to do.
If you take the ace, there will be more vehicle stuff.
Right.
The correct GM response.
No, it's more like, but the things I have a problem sometimes with those characters that have, let's say like Deckers in Shadowrun or
Sure.
pilots, is that they exist in a skill set that automatically pulls other characters out of spotlight. So whenever you're doing something that is within your skill set, you're automatically sort of stealing the spotlight from the rest of the story. And sometimes I just feel uncomfortable doing characters like that.
Well, to
especially
give you
with a small group.
To give you an example, one of the moves on the Ace playbook says jump first thing second. Go straight into danger without hedging your bets. That could be flying a ship. That could be running into danger. It could be, so that
It could be Han Solo charging a bunch of stormtroopers.
yeah, and then come running, screaming back.
Bad choice.
Yeah. So there are a lot of ways to make that work, but that's fine.
I'm just talking to the audience about my thinking about why I pick certain things.
So on the back page, you've got your attributes. Right under there are the 4 things that you're being bribed to do to get XP. If you get 5 XP, you get to buy an advancement. So let's save those. I'm going to have everyone tell us what you're being bribed to do when we introduce our characters.
Sounds great.
So
I wish I had one of those voice changers for that sound effect.
Kimmy will fix it in post, I'm sure.
The under advancements is your vitality and wounds. It moves left to right. The first 3 are vitality, and those are not real. You're not really injured at that point. You're a little beaten up, and if you get a little downtime, vitality is going to just heal right up. If you get into wounds, we need to talk to the medic, right? We're in danger. And you can take a debility to ignore any amount of harm that just came in. So, 5 harm blast. Oh, cool. I'm just gonna take -1 to my cool forever because I'm real shook up, right?
Right.
So that's
I love that you can voluntarily choose to do that. That's really cool.
Yeah. Now that is not going to be cleared up until like hospital time.
Right.
You know, and
Time in the back.
But you can also just have that forever and just take -1 cool and not worry about it because you're not really injured.
And you're not seeking counseling because you're a man, damn it.
Oh no, okay. We're not shaming that. And there's a drama move that I'm pretty sure there are two of these. One says when you die.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do go out in a blaze of glory, you'll get to do something cool. Hello. It's all right. It's a live audience. You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome to watch.
The other one is when you share a moment of intimacy with someone. Not to be confused with other games like Apocalypse World has literally a sex move, right? Like when you have sex with someone. This does not have to be that, right? It's specifically a moment of intimacy. So that could just be, that intense like moment where you're, getting through something really difficult.
Before C-3PO comes in and ruins everything.
Yeah.
Never told me that.
So good
You see
news
my arm?
in this world, Jar Jar Binks doesn't exist.
Hurrah! Well done. Thank you.
We
I
don't have
like
to.
you, I like your face, I like everything.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about him charging in the middle of an important scene. The other one on the right side of the back page, you've got your playbook moves and some space where if you want to take, like if you get an advancement and you want to take moves from another playbook, we can do that. And just to do a time check, is everyone good to go to like 1:30 or so?
Yeah, totally.
Since we started a little late today.
I wouldn't have walked in the room if I wasn't
Okay.
ready to waste at least 4 hours.
Tim?
I think I can handle one.
Okay, well we'll check in at 1 and see how we're doing, and maybe we'll be done early. But
Everyone knows.
cool. So, any questions on those parts of the sheet?
No.
Is this the typical on a fail you mark experience?
Yes.
I'm sorry. On a 6- you mark
Yes.
experience?
On a 6- you mark
Okay.
experience,
Cool.
Well, the things that you do, you mark experience.
and those 4 things.
Yeah.
Yes. And if you fail.
6-.
This game was some pretty solid inspiration for demigods as well.
Really?
Like the way that these other PBTA games have done the like, here's what you can do to get XP. I really liked how it had more bonds than I'd seen with any other PBTA game. Like the 6 bonds per page is
I
just
played
like,
Dungeon World for the first time yesterday, and I was surprised at how little teeth the bonds had in that game
Yeah.
whatsoever.
yeah.
Dungeon World is really. It doesn't feel like PBTA. Like I know.
It
I know
feels
it's
more
you
like
said, one,
DMT than PBT.
Yeah.
But I think
But
that's
that-
what
I think-
people want from it.
But
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
sort of like the conceit of the whole system is the fact that no, this is PBTA simulating D&D.
Yeah.
You should feel that
Yeah,
way.
they
That's
want
just well done.
They want D&D without having to play D&D,
Right.
which I can relate to. But it also doesn't really feel like PBTA either. So it's its own beast as far as what it feels like to me.
This is also the first game besides the one that we played, the Sword Crown or whatever, that had the take a disability or the ability for the
damage?
Yeah.
Like that is a great idea. I really like
I
that.
really like that too.
Yeah, another game has that too. I don't know if Apocalypse World has it, but there are a few PBTAs with that.
Okay.
So
It's cool.
yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, so how are we going with gear and moves and?
Yeah, choosing my serious weapons, my versatile weapons, and my backup weapons. Because those are the 3 lists of equipments that I get.
I got a blaster.
I got so many blasters. I got them coming out of my orifices.
That's not where you keep those.
You make your own choices, I'll make mine.
I got a lightsaber.
Also, don't put a lightsaber
Everybody says that.
in any orifice. That's not healthy.
No.
Ooh, flamethrower.
Very, very covert ops.
Yeah, I know.
It's her missile launcher.
Who gave you that?
Mook gave me a tactical nuke in my game the other day.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm like, yes.
What game was that?
We were playing GURPS and we were playing Starship Troopers.
GURPS. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Well,
was hysterical.
Starship Troopers get nuke hand grenades.
Yep.
That's sort of what they get.
Oh, I forgot about
Rad.
that. Yeah.
It was so much fun.
You remember Casper Van Dien pointing?
Yeah. This is the best bad movie of all time.
I actually really like that guy. I've met him a couple of times because he's married to somebody that I spend a lot of time hanging out with.
Oh, cool.
And he's actually a really, really cool, down-to-earth guy.
That doesn't surprise me. Okay. So, let's move on to introducing our characters. If you have some final stuff to decide on, we can sort of decide that as we go. Do you mind going first?
No, not at all.
Mr. Jedi?
His name is Almaeus Edge. Edge, actually, ADGE. It's pretty nondescript for a human, other than he has a scar across his face from a lightsaber bolt. It's kind of like right around here.
Oh yeah, well that's almost dead.
Yeah, almost. Gives his eyes a little bit of a sullen look.
Uh-huh.
Other than that, he's pretty nondescript, as a spy usually tends to be.
Okay.
Doesn't look, not overly tall, not overly short, just kind of average.
Yeah.
Doesn't wear Jedi robes, wears just some casual clothing, because, trying to blend in.
Oh, right. Yeah, the Sentinel.
Yeah. And that's it.
What does the lightsaber look like?
Lightsaber's a short hilt,
Yep.
and it's got a versatile phase on it, so it can expand and contract the
Yep.
blade.
And what color is it?
It's light blue.
Yeah, good. These are the important
Classic.
Jedi questions.
Those are indeed.
Okay, and so you were the Jedi or the Padawan for the mission?
Let's go with Padawan.
Okay, so you're Commander Adge. Adge or Edge?
Adge.
Adge. Okay, Commander Adge. If you want to think about it for a second, we'll come back. I'd like you to tell us how the Jedi died,
Okay.
because you did. Your master was here
Right.
and is not anymore. But that happened before we started coming back. Like he was lost on the they were lost on the mission before you even knew about Order 66.
Okay.
All right. So we'll talk about exactly what was going on there. Well, actually, yeah. Let me give you a little bit of background of what I was thinking for the mission. You all were sent to the Duros shipyards in orbit. It's an orbital shipyard around Duros. The Duros are the big blue-headed with the big black eyes.
They look like the Greys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in the Tatooine
But they're more of a darker
cantina
blue, yeah.
in the first movie. Just for reference, but yeah, they're sort of like spindly,
Red-eyed, blue skin, sort of
Yeah.
green, gray alien type
Yeah.
big head guys.
Exactly. They've lived in orbit for generations, so that's kind of where their bodies have gone. They're also great pilots for the most part. Pilots and designers and engineers is kind of their cultural heritage.
And they make a great sponge cake. Not a lot of people know that.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want your birthday party at the Duros
At the Duros
shipyards?
shipyards,
Yeah.
you really do. Yeah.
At the Duros
TIL?
shipyards.
Zero gravity baking.
So, the Duros are also known for being somewhat supportive, will eventually support the rebellion. In the war, shoot, I forget, were they confederated? I think they might have been still with the Republic. But either way, you all got word that they were working on a special stealth drive where you could go to light speed and they can't track where, like a lot of times when you go to light speed they can go, oh, we know what direction you were pointed in, and you can't change direction at light speed.
Right.
So we have a pretty good, at least we'll try to find you on that route. They have a stealth light speed drive that we want, and we don't want anyone else to have it. So your job was to get in there, steal the prototype that they have, the schematics, delete them. From there, who your gearhead on board was part of that process. You're the medic.
Medic.
Right. Okay. Keep mixing that up in my head.
I can switch if you need me to.
No. Not at all. I just have to. I remember I made a big thing about medic or gearhead, and now I can't remember which is which. So we had to get the gearhead in there to wipe the computers, and it was a whole get in, hack. It was a big
Was it an
shout.
overly complex pillar of hard drives
Obviously.
that needed to be pulled out manually?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you pulled one out and another one and put that one down here and this one here, it would cancel out all the data.
Because nobody knows how a server blade works
Yeah.
in the real world anymore, so...
Raids don't exist in Star Wars, I
No,
guess.
that's ridiculous.
Backup's one of those.
Oh god, I'm ruining the whole table. If you're just listening, I just bumped the table and the whole thing fell apart. Well, that's a script. Table has a script. The mission was ostensibly successful, right? As in, you got the prototype, which is, like the size of like an ottoman,
Right.
like a two-seater love seat kind of thing. So it was a big, heavy thing that you all were running out on a hover cart,
Right.
like trying to get it back to your ship and, tried to smash everything else in the lab. I'm assuming that was your job.
Oh, yeah.
And the gearhead successfully wiped the data, and you all are having to get out. On the way out, of course, something went wrong, and you had to fight your way out, and your Jedi didn't make it. So that is the loose area where we're starting. And we'll
Did
fill
he
in some-
sacrifice himself to save us?
Yeah, that's exactly how I got my scar, too.
Oh, okay.
It was me and him fighting, trying to let you guys get away, and he took a blast, and as he fell back, the lightsaber just kind of grazed my
Oh,
face.
yeah.
and
Oh, that's
then,
cool.
and then he bolted.
Okay. Ooh, so that could also mean unconfirmed death.
Yeah,
All right,
which
then.
is fun.
All right. You know what? I'm going to say this is a rare Duros Jedi, which is kind of why he was picked to...
Okay. Yeah, that
You
was
know,
fun.
The Duros are very distinctive. All of you really stand out in the Duros environment. Like, you are not Duros, and you can't just put on a rubber mask. I think our Duros Jedi, let's see, I'll come up with something. Dalmas. Dalmas.
I love donuts.
Is that a food?
Yeah, that's the name for those wrapped.
Tomadas.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Don't kill her.
They're really good.
He,
I'm hungry now.
yeah, so he was lost. You had to go. It looked like he was dead, so it probably was, because that's how it works.
Reach out with your feelings. Yeah, he's dead. Let's go.
I feel him better.
I feel him dead. I feel like I want to get the fuck out of here.
Okay. And he ordered you to leave. And,
Yeah.
well,
Very
good soldiers
dramatic.
follow orders.
Yeah. Do what I'm told.
Okay.
Mission comes first.
So, we have Commander Alamanasach, and good. I think is that it? Oh, can you read for us what you're being bribed to do with your character
Sure.
sheet?
I am bribed to discover a secret or solve a mystery,
Hmm?
infiltrate someplace new, behave like a Jedi shouldn't,
Uh-oh.
or recite a line from the Jedi Code.
Okay, cool.
interesting mix.
Do you have the Jedi Code committed to memory, or...
I can.
yeah, well, feel free to have that available.
Hello, magical pocket computer.
Yes, all human knowledge available at my fingertips. Okay, Jim.
I am ARC1128, known as Ice. He is an ARC Trooper Commando, and actually usually leads a squad of other ARC Troopers, but he was pulled specifically for this mission because he gets tapped to be a bodyguard for a lot of things, just because he seems to have a talent for that and gets along a little bit better with other people than most clone troopers.
Yeah.
With non-troopers, and which is a huge thing, but it's a quirk for ICE, because a lot of times they either feel like they don't belong in a group, or there's some kind of emotional stoppage for them really integrating with non-troopers. But for some reason, he just seems very chill and he's icy all the time, which is why they call him Ice.
Uh-huh.
He's always calm.
Okay.
Nothing really sets him off. To the point where I spent all of my dump points in bringing my cool up to a 1. So it started out as a -1
Nice.
for the character. I get bribed to escalate a situation through the use of violence or force, recount a tale of a former hunt, protect someone with or without their knowledge, which I thought was a real neat thing, and then tell someone off. I get.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I get to act like a
And-
surly clone trooper.
And of course, former hunt can just be any sort of
Yeah,
war
former
story.
battle. It's a war story, yeah.
And you're basically a Swiss Army knife, right?
Right.
What
I have a lot of
what
great
weapons
abilities.
did you take?
Well, I get 3 levels of weapon stuffs. For my serious weapon, I took a blaster carbine as a
Oh,
standard
yeah.
issue, which has an underslung ion gun.
Oh my.
Because we're fighting droids
Yes.
apparently at this point, so I figured an ion gun would be awesome
Yeah.
for that.
So is that like an ion grenade launcher sort of thing?
Yeah, it's basically sort of
Yeah.
an underslung thing, and it goes "Poosh," and has that.
Sure.
Because it's not necessarily it's a stun weapon.
Yeah.
For Sting. So and then my backup weapon is a concealed blaster pistol.
Yeah. Okay.
Along with my ARC trooper armor.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, a lot of options.
Yeah,
That's the.
yeah. I'm a toolkit of killing things.
I like that. I like that.
The best kind of
Okay. Anything else we should know off the bat?
I think we're going like with that.
Are you a pretty early series clone? Have you been around a long time?
I have been around a while. The survival rate of the commandos is not very high.
Yeah.
For ARC troopers because they're sent into very very high. I mean.
Yeah, but if you're in the 1000 series, like
Yeah.
that's pretty early.
That is pretty early. And in the 1000 series, I've been around a lot. But I have one of the reasons why I get attached to other groups a lot is because my squad tends to get killed out from under me all the time.
That's not good.
And so actually, one of the things that he keeps really secret and kind of tempt down from other people knowing is that he has survivor's guilt syndrome really hardcore. And the reason why it makes him such a real good bodyguard is because he's very concerned about.
He doesn't want to lose anyone else.
He's sick of losing people, so
Yeah.
he will put himself really on the line to save people's lives.
I like that. So Damas ordering him to leave.
But that was a short circuit for him.
Yeah.
It was like, no, I'm the one that's supposed to die, not again.
Yeah. It was fly, you fools. Okay, Verk or Chris or what?
Verk's perfect.
Okay,
It's
sorry.
easier.
That's the
Yeah.
first thing that I think of.
It's all cool. So if he's the 1000 series, which is super early, what number series are we at kind of now?
5,000 or 6,000 would be
Okay.
relatively recent. Well, fives from the clone series was like a half a year into service or something.
Fives was missed the original Battle of Geonosis, but was there at the second Battle of Geonosis.
Yeah.
So he would be about a few years into the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
They never really stated exactly how long the Clone Wars really were.
Yeah.
Anywhere that I could find.
And they were
So
never
it's kind
also
of nebulous.
explicit about their numbering scheme because it
Yeah.
really seemed all over the place.
Okay.
But in my mind, it's basically the first year was under 1,000, and then the 1,000s and the 2000s. Each one of those was a year's worth of
Yeah, a
clone
batch.
development. That's just my made up bullshit that fits how I think about the
Headcanon
clones.
accepted.
Yeah.
It's a batch number, barrel.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So he is 4331. So he's pretty new. He's been around a little bit, but not much. And his call sign is Stitch.
Yep.
And he is.
And you probably just CT for
Yeah,
through
yeah,
the
yeah.
clone trooper.
Yeah. So he is kind of like that teenager that like mentally that kind of thinks like he knows everything, give everyone advice on everything.
Yeah.
That's kind of like his mantra or whatever. Basically I didn't really get to take much gear, so I have a blaster pistol and my med kit.
Oh yeah.
I do have a question about med kit real quick.
Sure.
Is that it says spend stock to use it or whatever,
Mhm.
but it doesn't say anywhere where my stock is.
Oh, I think it starts with 6. Let me look at that real quick. It's not. Let's see. It's probably buried somewhere.
Okay.
And I also have a jetpack and I have a small starship.
You can. It begins play holding 6 stock,
Oh, did okay.
and you can resupply it 1 cred per 2 stock.
Right.
So, however, normally you wouldn't have to. You would just go back to not commission, requisition more stock or a new med kit or something.
Gotcha.
But you are now going to be
Or out in the
our
field.
own
out in
thing,
the
right?
field. So, my question for Stitch: is this your first covert mission?
I think it is.
Okay.
I think it is. Like, I think this is kind of a new thing for me.
So, what about his battlefield experience earned him a position on this mission?
Okay. I think what happened was there was something went down, a mission, a battle somewhere along the line, and Stitch was like down in the trenches pulling people out.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was really gnarly. Like everyone else kind of like fell back, but he didn't. He went and he got his brothers out of there.
Okay.
Like freaking Clone Trooper Dunkirk.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I imagine it.
Maybe you were at the Battle of Umbara. I mean, that's towards the end of the war.
Yeah.
And,
actually, that'd be really cool.
So that the other story's happening over there.
Right, I like that. That's
but
cool.
you actually were extracted and made it out with couple dozen clone troopers that you personally. Yeah.
Totally.
Okay.
And matter of fact, that even goes with one of the moves I picked, like that I get extra armor for going in and getting people out during battle.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I think that works really good.
So good. So you would both know that this, your medic is the lowest ranking, but is decorated for heroism. So that's cool. That is a good reason to be picked for this because that shows you can
Cool under pressure.
act under fire. Yeah.
And then what I'm being bribed to do is use my med kit, give someone advice, talk about medicine, biology, anatomy, and enter a dangerous situation to help someone.
Yeah. All right.
I think those are kind of that's my plan.
Good. And you do have a blaster of some kind, right?
I do. I have a standard blaster pistol.
Okay. Our pilot is going to be our pilot is called Freezer, which I see you know them well. But
Freezer.
the name came about because his call sign is 3333, and people started calling him. He wanted to be called Freezer, and has been just mercilessly mocked.
You can't make up your own goddamn nickname.
So it turned into Freezer because he couldn't be allowed to pick his own name. And our let's see, our gearhead is let's see, we need a good gearhead name.
Crank.
Yep. All right. I like that. Crank. And this is a 3-digit soldier, right?
Oh shit.
This is 798, CT 798, and this is somebody like a 5-year-old clone is somebody who's starting to show some age, right? That you guys age a little bit faster, and on the way back, as like you've been on this mission for a couple weeks, and his beard's starting to, he's got like the salt and pepper beard, and starting to get a little bit of the crow's feet, and
There's nothing wrong with that, Jason.
no, there is not. There's not. But for a clone trooper, this guy, it's interesting that he's still, like a lieutenant, or he's probably not a lieutenant. He's, but not very high up on the command structure.
Right.
But he's also the. Did you watch Battlestar Galactica?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The doctor who's just like cantankerous and like smoking a cigar in the med bay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Crank, he like smokes on the ship, and when he's been ordered not to, he's like, okay, puts it out. Jedi walks away, picks it back up again. And he's just like, he's cranky, and like
I like that.
can turn a crank. So that's why a CT-798 is still a soldier instead of an officer. I mean, officers are soldiers, but you know what I mean. Okay, so the this is gonna be fun. All right.
Oh, by the way, I also took medbay as one of my options.
Okay.
So just so you know, for as you build our ship.
Cool. I was picturing you guys having you would not be flying like an ARC trooper troop ship. Does anybody have a favorite like Star Wars ship? Otherwise, I was going to suggest the turtle, the space turtle.
The Gathraki.
Yeah, the G-Truck 720.
Oh, okay.
Just because it doesn't, it looks like this is a small freighter
Yeah.
that is, I don't know if the camera's going to be able to see this, but I'm going to come over, camera. I'm coming over there.
Oh no, camera, watch out.
Hey, buddy. Hey.
Hey, how's it going? It's okay.
If you want to look it up, it's... Well, anyway, there's our space turtle. I have no idea if that
Get a little closer.
is on the camera at all.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so good job for those watching.
Yeah.
If you're just listening, it's GHTROC, and that alone will bring it up, but it's also 720. And it's a light freighter. It's big enough. You could probably have a dozen people living on here and have like your like ship crew, you know. 5 clones and a Jedi, or a Jedi and a Padawan. This is perfectly enough people to fly this thing. And you had like a bullshit delivery that you were bringing in, delivered it, and then like, cool, we're gonna go drink and be dock workers. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. The Ocean's 11 portion of this has already been played through.
yes,
Right.
yeah, yeah. We did that part. We came out in the containers and
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
put back on
crawling
the
through
ship.
air ducts or all kinds. There's a
Yeah.
montage of all the shit.
Yeah. So the ship blasts out of Duros space, hit light speed, and we come back out in orbit around Coruscant, where you would check in and say, hey, we got the thing. Look at the thing that we got.
Right.
Yeah.
The
And
stealth thing.
we lost our general, and you get to like make a report.
Right.
And there is chaos. Right. You have come into space where you can see clone troop ships converging on the Jedi Temple, and it's just bloodbath, right, on all sides. And what do you want to tell Freezer to do?
Question.
Yeah.
Are we gonna not do bonds? Which is
Yeah.
fine. I mean, I just was.
That's a good point. We're definitely going to do that.
No, we skipped the bonds.
That's good though. We know we're like phew, out of light speed. Look in there.
Bonds.
Commercial break.
Let's figure out who our characters are. Okay, so we did our intros. Let's let's just pick one person, read all of them, and see if where you want to slot one in. I recommend putting, since there's only 3 of you, you may want to use up like 4 of these. Right, try to put someone down twice to build that. But you can also use Freezer and Crank or Dalmas, who's gone, but would still represent a relationship that's important to you. Do you want to go first, Commander?
Sure.
Okay.
Why not? First bond I have here is I have a dark vision about the future. I don't know. Domus.
Yeah.
Is,
It came to pass.
Came to pass.
You were right. What else you got?
Let's see. Blank has a secret only I know about. I don't know what the secret would be, but we'll go with Freezer.
Okay.
I'm working on uncovering an ancient mystery in secret with the help of, that would have been Dallas. Let's go with, Stitch is along, so we go Stitch.
Okay.
I'm sorry. What
That
was
work
that
for
for
you?
me?
You're working on uncovering an ancient mystery.
Yeah, that
of
works.
some kind.
Freezer is strong in the Force, but I sense a great struggle in the future if they learn of it.
Okay. That's our pilot.
No, I'm sorry.
What do you mean, ice?
I meant
Yeah, Freezer is a bad choice on my part, but I'm not backing away from
I
it.
meant ice. Sorry.
They're cold. Cold, man.
Yeah.
Let's see, we have I once cleared Crank of a crime they did not commit. They owe me.
Uh huh.
And we also say Stitch is a trusted friend.
Cool.
Okay. Great. Jim.
You know what? The bonds for the bounty hunter here, which is what I'm taking as this ARC trooper, kind of are weird. So because it goes, I've hunted blank in the past,
yeah.
but they slipped through my fingers, and I don't know. I'm
Hey,
having
I've
trouble.
got an idea for you. Why
I
don't
would take the trooper.
Yeah, why don't I give
bonds
you
for
the
that.
trooper
That's
sheet, and I bet those bonds are going to make a lot more sense. That's an excellent point. I have it here.
fine. Yeah, these are just the Jedi.
Here it is.
let's go with those. Blank and I have fought shoulder to shoulder. They have my respects. I'm gonna go with what was the Duros Jedi's name again?
Oh,
Dalmas.
Dalmas.
I've always found Blank to be attractive, but have never told them. You know, I'm gonna go with Crank on that one.
It's that face.
Yeah. Who doesn't want to make love to
Mirror.
themselves? Yeah, I do often. Helps me keep my decisions. Blank helps me keep my decisions, my demons at bay, and I'm gonna go with your character on
Okay.
that. Your name was Almas. Once I wronged Blank greatly and still feel indebted to them. Ooh, that's a hard one. Let's go with Freezer on that. I'm going to say that with that that we had a mishap at in a previous mission. Blank lives by a different code than I do. I'm certain I will clash. I will clash soon. We'll go with Stitch on that one because I think that his very wordy, outgoing attitude probably does not go well with my surly, quiet attitude.
Great.
Which makes me want to do it all the more.
Exactly.
Right, I totally get that.
No, I see what me as like this old veteran dog, and you like the new puppy.
Right, I get that.
I surrendered under Blank in the past and disobeyed one of their orders. I'm going to go with Dalmas again on that one.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Okay, great.
That worked much better. Thank you.
Cool. So Blank needs to take better care of themselves. I think that absolutely has to be ice.
Yeah.
Because I see the effects that are happening to him of his stress and stuff. Probably one of the reasons I keep trying to talk to you.
Right.
I'm going hey, let me help out or whatever, and you're like, shut up, kid.
You have clone PTSD. Let me help. No, I don't. I'm a man. Leave me alone.
Right. Exactly.
You can be both things.
I sometimes get the feeling Blank doesn't take me seriously. I think I would like the idea of Crank being that.
Okay.
That
That's a
Crank's
great
is
idea.
Craig doesn't take very many people seriously.
So not only that, he's the oldest one of us here,
Yeah.
so it's
Okay.
probably like going,
Why are you even on this ship, kid? Yeah.
He's a hero.
Blank and I enable each other's addictions. I thought it was an interesting thing to have on a medic.
Uh-huh. And also, you're welcome to leave a question blank if you're like, oh, my character doesn't have an addiction.
Right.
You can, don't feel obliged. Or it could be an existential addiction.
Can I keep that blank and then as if something happens in game and I'm like, you know what, this is the perfect
Yeah,
thing. Okay.
totally.
Awesome. I just can't help it. Blank is usually the butt of my jokes. I think that would probably be Freezer
Yeah.
because he probably takes himself really seriously and we all don't.
Yeah, and he's also the next youngest,
Right.
or next recent
Yeah.
clone, so probably the one that you can needle the most directly.
Gotcha. I like that. Blank has a rare disease or condition that only I know about. I would really like this to be Alma. Is it Almas?
Almas.
Yeah, sure.
Almas. And what if you don't know either?
Okay.
Because we're friends or whatever, and I recently found out about it. I'm trying to do something in the background to figure out what's going on.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Or you talked it over with her master at Dalmas at the time, and he said maybe just keep this to ourselves for right now. I
that's a
want to
good
tell
idea.
her, but he died before he could tell Dalmas about it. So you're holding the secret and don't know what to do with it. 'Cause
Yeah.
you've basically been given these orders, but you figure it might be right to tell him.
Right.
That reminds me. Well, actually, let's finish your thing and then I'll
Okay.
have a...
And then the last one is I'm in love with blank, but don't know what to do about it. Can I be in love with Dalmas?
Uh-huh.
I don't know if he's a guy or girl or whatever, but
He's a guy.
okay.
Yeah, it doesn't really
Either way,
matter.
yeah. I think I would like that. It's kind of like I'm still reeling from that at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I think that makes sense.
I like that. Cool.
And that's it.
Okay, so quick question. The clone troopers are likely, but don't have to be he/him. I ran this at a home game, and I think half the table immediately had gender options in mind, like, oh yeah, no, my clone trooper is actually she, her, and is now that we're not in the army anymore, is transitioning, right?
Right.
Like, oh, okay, cool. Like I hadn't thought of that as an option, but that's what she did, and somebody else had a they them clone trooper. So feel free to, if we should adjust pronouns. And I forget if you said Alamaeus. He, him. Okay. So let me know if there's
No,
any sort of
yeah,
variation.
my character's he, him. He's just, but gender really isn't a thing.
Okay.
I've always figured clones as like being sort of, we only give you the information that was necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're finding their way through the whole sexuality thing when they come out of the army, I guess, I don't even know how to explain it, they're like, I really don't see any division or difference between whoever I'm attracted to, I'm attracted to.
Sure.
That's just, I've always thought of it that way. When you're a blank slate, would you really have any of those pre-imposed?
Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff is socially programmed into us. And anything for
He, him.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Good to know. Okay, I think we've done all of our prep. Did I skip anything?
I
think
so.
All right. So my plan, I want to do some of this opening scene, figure out what you all decide to do next, and then we'll take like a quick bathroom break.
Sure.
And jump back into it.
Sounds great.
Okay. So you drop out of light speed, and as Freezer is he's getting ready to radio in, and just all this radio chatter is all right, remember all this troop movement, and he's like, oh, I have to change channels or something, but you realize you're probably in the co-pilot seat, LMS, as the commander, that's just where you belong when you get a report in, and so yeah, you come in. There is just this running battle on the surface of Coruscant. You can see the Jedi Temple is not collapsed, but it is a smoking. No one's in there.
It's a
Yeah.
blaze.
If they're in there, they're not people anymore. And
They're crispy critters.
and you can even just feel, without even having to reach out to the Force, devastation has arrived here. It's not Alderaan blowing up, but it is a bunch of Force users died today,
Yeah.
right? And you had had a weird twinge when you left, a weird kind of premonition, but your master just died, and you were,
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff
I'm a
going on
little
in your head.
emotional right now.
But when we came here, just this, wash of emotion and presence in the Force, and the Jedi communicator you have that is separate from the clone sort of channels is flashing with an emergency message, and the chatter over all this is just going bonkers, and immediately, within 20 seconds of listening to the chatter, and Freezer's looking at you what is happening? Because they're saying okay, move in, yep, General so-and-so eliminated, mission successful, blah, blah, people are reporting in, and everyone sounds like human droids, right? Their voices sound weird. You're hearing clone troopers because they have their accent,
Right.
but they just sound dead inside. And Freezer is looking at you I don't know what to do. This is...
Well, I'm going to check the Jedi communicator. It's
Okay.
We'll flash him, see what that has to say.
So that has a pre-recorded message. I think it was Obi-Wan left
Yeah.
a message for all the Jedi to...
No, it was.
It wasn't Obi-Wan, right? It was.
No, it was. What's his face? The Alderanian guy.
Yeah.
Organa. Senator Organa.
Yeah.
Can't remember his name.
Left a message for all Jedi to scatter, basically. Right? I forget what the exact wording of it was, but it was the temple's been overrun. Run and hide. Wait for the next order, right? And then, well, we know no next order comes.
But I don't know that now. I'll look to Freezer and say, get us out of here.
Okay. What's going on in the rest of the ship?
So
Crank's asleep in a hammock in the engine room.
I actually want to just start laying down some truths about how this Order 66 thing works.
Sure.
For us. So just let's assume that it's basically a sort of like a broadband transmission of a keyword or trigger code, like as if you were a sleeper agent.
Yeah.
I think is the way that it would probably work, and that would sort of like the program memory would be activated towards that. So I figured that since we're on a covert mission, we're probably keeping to a very restricted channel set.
Yeah. You were radio silent when the actual order went out.
Right.
So
there's a very high possibility that transmission has not come through to us.
Exactly.
But since we're in such close proximity to Coruscant, maybe they're just broadcasting it broadly, or how do we want to interpret that? Do we want to say that we're actually receiving Order 66, or we dipped in and got out before that happened?
The premise I was initially working on, which is flexible, was the order went out in one broadcast of like, okay, all troops execute Order 66, maybe like said it a couple times, and then the broadcast is over, versus like having it on a loop.
Right.
And having missed that, and also like seeing what's happening, would sort of give you the ability to like if you did hear it now after the fact, or like wait a minute, okay, I understand what's happening to me, and give you the ability to kind of like push through that.
Right.
But that's a flexible part of the story that we can decide together.
The thing, and the cool thing about it too, is that if I were the clone trooper in charge of the squad and we didn't have a Jedi with us, he would insist to calling into command and finding out what his orders and what is going on.
Right.
Since you're in command, he's willing to go with whatever you're saying. So if you said, let's bug the F out, or whatever you want to do, I'd back that play. But I just, one of the things that's difficult is that we are bred with a loyalty to the Republic.
Yes.
Not necessarily the Jedi Order.
Right.
So it's going once we actually suss out what comes in play, we're going to have to do some serious soul searching.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wanted to establish, how did Order 66 go out, and how are we reacting to it? So let's just say we never received it, and they're not rebroadcasting it right now. But if we do try to make contact, they'll probably try to get us. So I think that makes sense?
Yeah, I like that.
Cool. Well, I'm on another computer console, and I'm basically just trying to get through a bunch of different communiques and trying to suss out of just the chatter what's going on. Because his last order was to keep radio silent, but he's still receiving. So he's basically going through that, trying to figure out what the F is going on.
Well, since you're trying to sort through a bunch of information really quickly, rather than have you check out the scene, I'm going to actually have you roll Trust Your Feelings.
Oh, okay.
So roll plus D.
So that's a 7.
Okay. So on a 7, the sense is vague and foreboding, which seems about right.
That's perfect.
But yeah, you have a sense of like all this information's coming in, and you're thinking like, okay, well I know we're supposed to leave. Maybe I should check in. But then not only the order to leave says, okay, well I'm not going to check in, but like you were going to check in before you got the order to leave.
Yeah.
And the idea of checking in was so ominous. Just this dark cloud rolled through your mind of like, oh no.
Now, how about this? They're about to do that, and there's a flashback scene to basically one of his first missions, and he's in this jungle world, and he's in some cover, and his commander goes, "We're charging that nest. Go, go, go!" And everybody goes out of this concealed area, but I wait 3 seconds because something in me says, no, dude, you gotta wait 3 seconds before going out there.
Yeah.
Everybody got slaughtered, and he went out there and actually killed the machine gun, the
Yeah.
E-web nest, because he waited. So he's learned to trust his instincts as a flashback. It's like, and you see that flashback, and you see the hand just go away from the communicator. And back down.
That's cool.
We get that.
And that was the first time you walked away from all your dead partners.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it started to be a series of things. Because I kind of want to make it so he's a little bit force sensitive, and that's what's fucking his life.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's you have a reason to be questioning leadership.
Yeah.
Stitch.
I think Stitch, because he's just like kind of scatterbrained with a lot of stuff. Like he's probably still just doing paperwork from the reports.
He's doing his after action report.
Like literally, he's like super late. He's like, "Hey, I gotta hurry up. We're gonna be transmitting soon," and like has no idea what's going on.
Okay.
kind of how I imagine that going.
Yeah, so you don't have like the incoming radio stuff happening.
I'm in the infirmary typing up on my console, like trying to get something ready
Cool.
to transmit.
Cool. So your pilot, Freezer, is I think I'm going to call him Freezer because I keep getting confused.
I like Freezer better too.
He got his wish.
Yeah.
Beamer.
Or he wanted to be called something cool, and everyone's like, no. Like he wanted to be Freezer. Like, no, you're Freezer. you brought this on yourself. You don't ask for your own call sign. So the pilot is like trying to quickly like, where do you want me to go? Like he has to calculate a hyperspace jump, and but can't just jump nowhere, right? And is looking to you like, where do we?
Away from here.
So I'd like to say that my character's been on a lot of these types of missions, and since Bounty Hunter has some like underworld contact type things that I can use too, let me say that I might know some things that are non-aligned, independent areas. So I'm going to say that there's a place called Treehouse. That's basically sort of like an old space station that's kind of like a waypoint for people that don't want to be found.
Sure.
And
would it be maybe out in the like Nar Shaddaa system,
Yeah.
like by Nahada?
Yeah, exactly. Somewhere in the outer rim near the Hutt systems.
So Nar Shaddaa is the moon around the Hutt home planet.
It's
and
Las Vegas.
It's
Yeah.
just like it's just the crime moon basically. But yeah, I like the idea. The treehouse is like this. Like maybe like a ring station.
Basically, it's a bunch of different space stations that were sort of brought together and sort
Yeah.
of makes this sort of weird, sort of like tree structure with a long thing.
Yeah.
So it's called the treehouse.
But
It's cool.
even I think it's probably a little. It's not like affiliated with Nar Shaddaa. It's
No.
just like in that system, and even not all criminals know about the treehouse. So it's probably something the two of you know about.
Right.
And
So basically, what I do is I even have my helmet on. I'm just going in there and I just grab you on the shoulder in between the pilot and him, and I go, I think maybe we should go to the treehouse. Suss this out.
Sounds like a good idea. Let's just get away from this chaos.
Indeed.
okay, so
Right before that, can I run in and be like, I finished my report, we can send it now?
We're leaving.
What?
We're leaving. End scene. We're leaving. What? End scene.
Commander, I've received my landing orders.
Ignore them.
Well, okay, they're tracking us.
I push the shields up that says, make the calculations to get us out of here, pilot.
Yeah.
Order
I'm
received.
assuming I know where I don't know where the transponder is on this thing, right?
Sure, yeah.
It's gone.
Okay.
Lightsaber.
Oh, yeah. All right, I like that. Crank is like, there's a panel, I can open it.
Too slow.
Too slow.
Good. All right.
Yeah, he's like finally awake, like, what's happening? He's like yelling from he has an intercom that he could use, and he's just like,
Wait a minute. They're going to track us by our hyperspace jump?
probably. They're tracking your movement right now, because you're a,
Crank.
A
you
clone
think you can
ship
get that
that
thing,
has a-
You think you can get that thing working?
yeah, I mean, you gotta give me a minute.
That's pretty much what you got, Crank. Let me know what else you need, and
Okay.
I'll try to make the best to make that happen.
All right, who's gonna go help him?
Probably me.
Okay,
Wait, yes.
all right, let's roll, cool.
So I'm going to run down there and be like, I don't know what's going on, but you told me to go do something, so I'm going to
Yeah.
go.
Go
Yeah.
help Crank. Just do what he says.
Right.
This is act under pressure.
I'm sorry, you said cool?
Cool.
9.
Okay. On a 7 to 9, it's going to cost you. I'll offer you a worse outcome or a hard choice. That is true.
Okay.
Um,
I'm not surprised.
okay. So, either we can. Well, we're going to get where we're going. Either way.
Okay.
Either the ship will be damaged when we get there, or you will take 3 harm. Which is like half your health.
Right.
Just for anyone listening along.
Yeah.
But it is not into wounds. It is vitality.
Okay.
So if you can get there and not be in immediate danger, which why would that happen?
Word.
Never.
You'll have time to rest and get better. But you're gonna have to choose because you're like Craig's like, okay, plug that in and then don't touch it, but it won't stay in, and you have to like hold it in. And you're like, just hit it, and
Yeah.
So
I totally seen that being my damage, not the ship's.
Okay.
Like, yeah, that makes sense. I'll take the three vitality.
okay, so Craig pulls down on this huge, like illogically large switch.
Yeah, actually, Untitled really helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Oh
Theater,
yeah, for sure.
Good call.
It's like, look at that, because you're the medic and you just sacrificed some of your shit for somebody else. That should be a thing on your list.
Yep, sure. Yeah, definitely.
That's a good call.
So you got some XP for that. The this Crank just pulls down this ridiculously large lever in the engine room. Like,
Of course.
all right,
Because
here we
Star Wars.
go.
Yeah.
And this thing that he's like hot wired into the engine, like glows blue. It's all this like coils and loops and energy coming into place. And Threeser up front with you is like, oh yeah, this is gonna work, and you know, like puts the coordinates in that the two of you gave him, and the ship takes off. At that moment, this charge just like goes into your hand and through the other one that you're like holding on the deck, and you're just blasted out of the engine room. You know, like straight out the door. Like, what a shot, right?
Right.
It's probably good that you didn't hit like the edge of the door.
Right.
It would have been way worse. But yeah, you blast like across the hallway, hit the wall, slide down, and there's like the smell of. Did you? How do you wear your hair?
I probably have a really weird, like, zigzaggy pattern. Like,
Okay.
I kind of, like, cut into it because I
But
want to be
relatively
different.
short.
Yeah, definitely
Okay,
short.
so it's there. You still have hair, but it's like the top of your head is smoking. Like you were electrocuted.
I'm kind of envisioning that scene where R2D2 is plugging into the
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Right.
But with a human being.
What are you saying about R2?
Not a human.
Don't be droid phobic, man.
No, that's fine. Not lesser, but not human.
There you go.
I am the biggest droid advocate you will ever meet. It is
Droid
my
rights.
brand.
Right.
Okay, so the ship launches into light speed. We have probably I don't actually know distances that well in Star Wars, so
Just pick it because it depends on
yeah.
the navigation route.
Oh,
and all
sure.
that
Does
cool
Star
shit.
Wars.
Yeah.
Like, they really don't know.
we make it in.
How many parsecs?
Yeah, right.
It's space opera because it's space magic. It's not.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. I think we're gonna have like a full day.
Okay.
You know, like 20 hours or so of travel, and partly because Threeser is realizing like he actually has a little bit of ability to change direction. It's dangerous because like he has to update the calculations as he goes. But with the thing that's been plugged into the ship, he has a small ability to change
To maneuver inside hyperspace.
without dropping out of hyperspace and recalculate.
Very cool.
It's,
Cool.
It's not a lot, right? Like,
Right.
or well, I mean, he could do a lot, but it gets very dangerous very quickly. But yeah, he's mostly now enthralled with like oh wow, if I do this, and he's got his computer open, and he's doing like possibility calculations, and you realize like, oh, this dork is a genius. Your pilot is like, oh, we don't even need a droid. Look at this guy. Yeah, this guy who didn't get to pick his own call sign and gets picked on a lot is like a legit, next level genius.
Super pilot,
As he's like doing all these calculations that he shouldn't need to make. Like the ship computer could do it, but he's having more fun doing it kind of manually. And the ship computer also, it doesn't have an algorithm to change course mid-light speed. That's not something starships do. So your space turtle freighter is arcing through light speed, and we're gonna wind up at the treehouse after about 20 hours of travel. We'll pick up and have that scene, but we're gonna take our quick little break. I'm gonna run over here and put us into pause. Well, we're not actually gonna pause. I'm just gonna turn off the video, or blank the video, and turn our mics off. And we'll be back in like 5 minutes. After these messages, we'll be right back. hello. If you're watching, you got to see me move the camera with the mics off. All right, so we're back, and I will do a little dance. Cross over here. Do a little dance. Just dance. All right. So,
I love this place so much.
Right?
I have so much fun at this convention. Too much, actually. All right, so we just made it out of hyperspace and we're at the treehouse.
well, unless we need any hyperspace downtime.
Okay.
Well, if we have about a day, I know I'd find a quiet spot, try and go into a meditation and figure out what the heck is going on.
That seems like a good idea. Let's do that. Do you have like a special meditation move, or do you want to do trust your feelings?
I'll do trust my feelings.
Okay. Give me before you roll, give me a rough idea, because normally this is like trust your feelings on what someone's trying to tell you, right? So the you're trying to gain new insight into your situation. So what what are you aiming your attention at? Like, what do you want to gain insight about?
Well, obviously, I noticed the Jedi Temple was getting destroyed, and it looked like it was Republic troops doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out.
And I imagine you have some recordings too,
Yeah.
right? Like you popped in, and your ship is just picking up information. Like you.
Can we have like a sort of like a scene where he's sort of meditating, and then the camera switches to me sort of looking over and sussing out and parsing out parts of the communications and basically putting a story together.
Yeah,
like,
doing some like frame by frame.
Yeah, exactly. So, and just me just sort of doing, and him sort of meditating and scenes going through his brain about what's going on.
Cool.
just
I
back and
like the way
forth.
that looks.
Yeah.
And I like they did me over his shoulder, like, what's going on? Like,
Oh, also, it's worth noting, I don't know why I care about this, but I think it's interesting. This freighter has room for like, you could either have, like, there's like a captain and a co-pilot captain, I mean a cabin, right? Like the captain would have his own cabin, the co-pilot would have their own cabin. And then there's room for like 10 more people to be 2 to a bunk. So this is also a situation where the clones could all have their own room, which is interesting. Do you have your own room, or have you chosen to bunk with someone? Because there are enough rooms, enough bunks where everyone could be in their own.
Could go either way with that because we're.
You're just so used to being around clones all the time.
I would
Yeah.
think that that not so much myself, but the rest of the regular standard infantry troopers would probably be more comfortable bunking in one place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crank is probably, like, on a technicality, is the next one down. Like, you're probably like a lieutenant commander or something,
Right.
and Crank just has so much seniority, like they had to put him at a certain rank. And it's probably, the closest to you in rank, if that's what you're thinking. Or
Right.
if you want to have your own space, that's okay too. I just like thinking about this.
No, I'm going to say that there's a secondary cabin that we collectively use for when we want our alone time.
Okay.
But we all bunk together as for regular just sleeping time. It really doesn't matter because we usually tend to rotate the times where we sleep. So
Yeah.
one's always up doing
Shifts.
something in shifts. So, but I'm going to say that the secondary sort of like first officer's cabin, we all sort of like didn't even talk about it, but we go in and out of it when we need our own privacy.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Okay. How about Stitch? Have you tried to squirrel away your own space in one of the open cabins? Because there are just unused cabins at this point.
I don't think so. Like,
Okay.
I kind of think of him as like really wanting to be with everyone.
Yeah.
And then
Wouldn't separate himself.
Right. On the
Okay.
rare occasion that I would need to do something, I'd probably just go to the medical bay. Like, but
Sure.
in general, I think I would want to be around everyone as much as possible.
So I think essentially Dalmas was in the captain's cabin. You were in the co-pilot, the second,
Right.
first mate's cabin. That's the word. Ships. Ice and Crank were probably bunked together, and then Stitch and Threes are normally bunked together. So
That's good.
That's good. I like that. Each PC is with an NPC, and you get your own space, which makes sense. Okay, so we're trying to get insight about what was happening at the Jedi Temple.
Right, so I think I'm going to call on the Force, which I guess I suffer 1 for to get 3 points.
Well, you could do trust your feelings, or you can use the
I think
Force.
I'd use the Force.
Okay, yeah. So, and also just to clarify, if you're listening along, the way Jedi use the Force in this game is they mark a harm. Not that they're injured, but it's a way for the game to sort of balance how like the fact that you have access to the Force and
the mental exhaustion of channeling that
right,
energy.
right. But once you do that, you have 3 hold that you spend. You don't roll unless you're trying to do something really wild, like pull a ship out of space. But size matters not. So it matters a little bit.
Judged by my size view?
So otherwise, you get to just spend your hold to do basic Jedi stuff. You're a trained Padawan. You could be on your way to being a master if there was still a.
Still, I had one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna spend the Force point. I'm gonna sit and meditate, and I'm gonna try and reach out and see if I can contact some, Master Yoda or Master Windu or Master, Kenobi or any of the above. See if I can't reach out and get some information as to what.
The only one who picked up was Anakin. This voicemail was weird.
All right.
Just a lot of heavy breathing.
Okay.
No.
So the Call of
I
Force.
don't want that to happen. We get rid of Jar Jar. Let's get rid of that scene.
The Yoda lightsaber battle.
No, that was actually cool. I'm talking about the creation of Darth Vader and the
Oh, yeah.
The Frankenstein scene.
or as I call it, the telenovela scene of no.
Yeah. That's exactly what that was. Wow. I never thought of that.
I have a whole new appreciation for that.
I was forced to watch a lot of telenovelas with my mom, man.
Yeah.
I know exactly what that is.
That's great. Okay, so I'm actually going to label this as doing something new and interesting with the Force,
Okay.
because I don't think this is something you've really tried to do before.
Probably not.
So I am going to have you roll deep, even though you had to spend a hold to do it.
You know what the Jedi need? A slack.
But I'll tell you ahead of time, a 6 minus does not mean, and this is in general, I don't think of 6 minus as a failure, but I'm also going to tell you specifically in this case, 6 minus, you're going to make contact with someone.
Right.
But I want to roll to see kind of the nature of that contact and how it shapes up. So I've got a few ideas of how that's going to go.
All right. And that would be a 6.
Plus
7,
your D? 8. Okay. So on a 7 to 9, it's incomplete, lacking, flawed, or costs you. I don't want to present you with an injury cost, but I think what you're able to pick up on is, the problem you're faced with, the reason why it's incomplete, flawed, is you're directing your attention at the Jedi Temple as a focal point, and the just wash of despair is overwhelming, right? And you do have the sense of the battle, you have the just the sense of crushing defeat that Yoda felt, right? You know that it's Yoda's feeling of having. He didn't really lose the battle with
He said it himself that he failed. He felt like he failed.
Yeah, he won that fight, but failed. The Jedi Order failed.
Yeah.
And you just have that despair from this 1,000-year-old person who was a counselor and wise and everybody looked up to, and you get that sense of it's all
fucked.
You blew it all to hell.
You damn
I
dirty
could see Amadeus just breaking down, weeping in his cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, what I would like to see is him basically going through that meditation, and he's just sort of just slumps over and is sort of weeping.
Yeah.
And his cabin door opens, and it's me, and I'm holding my pistol.
Oh. Okay.
and he goes, and I go, you know what's happened.
Do I know what happened, or I just feel that?
I think I think that actually you have a sense of that loss, right? But also the sense of betrayal, of and also the Yoda should have seen it coming. That's his feeling. It's how did I miss this? This is a big deal. But I don't think you know that a Sith was involved, but you know that the Republic turned on the Jedi Temple, and that means the clone troopers.
So then, as he would say
I
that,
thought I was gonna sneeze. Sorry.
you just hear the sound of a lightsaber igniting.
Okay.
Do I hear that?
The
lightsaber
lightsaber is a very distinct noise.
Right. That's
The-
what it's like. If I.
Yeah, and I imagine your, med bay is just a little ways down the hall, because it's central, and I happen to know what the floor plan of a G-Troc 720 looks like. So
So do I.
the first mate's cabin is like, if you come out of the cockpit, if you're walking out, then it would be the captain's on your right and the first mate's on your left, or if you're looking into the cockpit, the first mate's on the right. And then from there is kind of some open space and where you can like plug in the units that you want in the ship, because it's a little modular. And so your med bay would be central because it's right around where all the other cabins are and above the cargo bay. So, this would be like out your door and 15 feet down the hall.
Okay.
You hear a door open and you hear, do you know what happened? And then you hear a lightsaber flick on.
Okay.
And it's not the quick lightsaber, it's the slow.
The dramatic lightsaber.
Yeah.
I just love the scene of like the backlit silhouette of me in the light of the outside the dark room,
Yeah.
and just sort of like me in this armor with this pistol out, and then you see
Yeah.
the glow of the
Yep.
blue lightsaber.
No one's moved yet.
Nobody's
it's
moved
just
yet.
tense.
It's just
and,
tense, exactly.
Yeah. So what's your? Is that all? You just
Yeah.
ignite and wait?
I wait.
Okay.
And it goes, and I'm like, I don't know what it is you're trying to do, but I have orders. Orders that don't make sense. And he basically just puts the pistol back in his holster. Maybe we should talk about it.
I agree. Violence will solve nothing.
Violence solves everything. That's what I've been taught my entire life.
It's literally the primary solution to 90% of problems.
And I think violence has settled quite a lot on Coruscant. But I think that it's time for a better way of doing things on this ship.
I will disengage the lightsaber
Mm-hmm.
and slowly stand.
What I don't understand is what the Jedi did.
Is Stitch out in the hallway at this point?
I like the idea of like as like the lightsaber turns off, the camera like pulls back, and I'm like standing there like with my blaster like in my hands, like I don't know what to do here. Like I'm like looking at both like people. I'm like but yeah. So I think I'm like there watching it.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And I think Threezer's just unaware in the cockpit, and we don't know where Crank is.
And it's great because he's sort of there in the back, and he puts down his pistol, but when he puts his pistol down, he basically he turns off his lightsaber, he steps sideways to see another armed trooper behind him going, there are more of us than there are of you. This would be interesting. Either way.
I like that.
But do you have any idea what the Jedi have done to incur the wrath of the Republic?
I would ask you what the Republic has done. Because the Jedi have not done nothing to the Republic other than help the Republic. You fought alongside you.
Perhaps if we just share what we do know. There's been a general order distributed amongst all clone Republic troopers to not apprehend, but kill every Jedi that they see. The Jedi Temple has been razed, and from what I understand from comms chatter, that it's been pretty much completely evacuated in a hostile sense.
That doesn't make any sense. How could that how could we get those orders? I mean, we fought alongside the Jedi.
Apparently, these orders have come down from the Chancellor himself.
Now, in my sensing, did I get any feelings about that the order came down from the Emperor or Palpatine did something?
I don't know if anything that specific would
Would
come
we know
through,
that
but
it's been turned into an empire?
I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, it's still like he's what's his face before, not Palpatine, his other name. I think it was Dooku, and that's somebody else.
Oh no,
Darth Sidious.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Republic knows him as Palpatine. Yeah, I forgot.
Senator Palpatine.
Yeah. He has just given this order because he's accused. Well, yeah, I'm trying to think of how much you all know. The Jedi have been accused of being traitors to the Republic. I think that's what you know.
So, and I go, and this guy says, I am born and bred to follow orders, as all are my men. So before there are too many questions and too much tension about it, I think I found a loophole. Apparently, the Chancellor has declared himself emperor. And technically, it is no longer a republic. I swore to fight for a republic, not an empire.
Sir?
At that point, you hear a door slide open, kind of like past where the cabin is. It's a fairly distant sound, but it's like, oh yeah, that's about where the engine room is. Mm-hmm. You hear that slide open, and you hear like a thunk against the hallway wall, and like dragging sound, of like a scraping.
Okay, I have my hand on my pistol and I go to investigate.
I will not put the lightsaber away. It's staying in my hand. But I'll wander out into the hallway.
Okay.
I will wait for him to go by me, and then I will follow.
Yeah, good
Like-
call.
Good soldier. I like that.
And you you see Crank, like an eye is twitching. He's leaning his left shoulder against the wall, and his left arm just looks dead. Like it's just dangling. And he's dragging, he's like pushing himself along the wall.
I'm like, Stitch, get over here quick. And I basically try to.
It looks like well, no, hold on. So he looks like his left leg is medium dead as well, because his like right leg is propelling him. He's just using the wall to keep himself, his left side up. And his right hand is holding his blaster. And you could just hear him muttering. And as you get closer, you hear, "Good soldiers follow orders." And he like cocks his blaster, and when you come around, he says, "Get down, Lieutenant. Good soldiers follow orders," and just brings his blaster up.
I'm going to use my I wouldn't do that move. When you successfully interfere with someone, it subtract 3 from the roll instead of 2. So I'm going to try to immediately intervene between him and Blaster and the Jedi.
Okay. I'm going to give you. I'm going to have you roll a disadvantage on this one.
Okay.
Because Crank is not in his right mind, and is willing to sort of push through your interference where he normally would not be. So you're going to roll 3 dice and take the lower 2. Yeah.
So that sucks.
Well, you get the. Oh right, yeah. So what do you add to that one?
What does interfere add?
Oh right, so you would roll your plus your bonds with him.
Okay. Do my bonds with him have a value?
It's per bond. Each bond counts as 1.
Okay. So I have Crank. I have 1 bond with Crank. So the 4.
Total of 4.
Yeah.
Okay. So the hard move. This blast goes off. The let's see. Where's the thing I wanted? Where's my? There we go. The MC page. The blaster pistol is 3 harm. Mm-hmm. Close, loud, energy. It's got all these like fun tags on it, and it hits you. Do you have a thing that will like interrupt a blaster fire or anything like that?
Is there any way I could tackle him to the ground? Like when I see that happen, like as him like pull up the thing and then not working like
probably.
Okay.
I want to resolve the blast
Go
first. Well, you already have hold, right? You have like 2 holds left.
Yeah.
I think if you wanted to use one of those to like get your lightsaber up,
To block the blast.
we'll like roll for it and see. I think if you didn't already have hold, probably wouldn't spend it, but
All
seems
right,
like a
we'll do that.
good way to manage this, because you certainly can block a blaster bolt. So, especially with the ominous feeling of like, you know what? Actually, what you're getting is sort of like it's borderline like you don't really sense droids, but you get that sort of like dead space from them. You're getting a little bit of that. Like it's not Crank, right? It doesn't feel like the same person.
Okay. So what do I need to roll here?
You're gonna roll your deep.
Okay.
That seems right for lightsaber deflect.
Yep.
9. Okay, let's treat that like armor for now. So you're gonna reduce 2 of that, and you'll take 1 harm,
Okay.
which is still in your vitality, right?
Correct.
Okay, so
Can I yell out something when he shoots?
yeah.
Okay. Can I yell out? I'm like, Crank, you've never been a good soldier. Why start now?
Do you want to try to convince him to stand down?
I'm trying to like get through his brain to like him to remember who he is. Right?
Yeah.
He's the guy that smokes on the deck. He's the guy I'm trying to like. Yeah.
Okay, let's
No, I was going to say, as a reaction, I was going to try and telekinesis the gun out of his hand.
Okay, well let's jump in with this. You're doing
Sway someone or something?
yeah, you're gonna do roll suave. I'm gonna look up the actual move. Like what did I do? Here's moves. Take this.
Reading a person?
Your
Apply leverage?
It's apply leverage, yes.
Okay. My swat's horrible. Yep, super, super horrible.
Okay.
Super horrible.
He unfortunately you draw his attention as a bad soldier, and do you have an armor value?
I do not.
Okay, so you're looking at 3 harm.
Okay.
And that's
So, did my vitality thing go away because of the 20 hours, or do I still
I
have
think let's say one of them has peeled off, and so that's gonna put you at 5.
Yep.
Okay.
that? That's great.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
fine. Totally fine. My mistake.
That's no. I mean, it was just bad luck.
The dice. The
Yeah.
dice's mistake.
Yeah, that could have
It was
gone
their
really
fault.
differently.
Yeah.
And hard moves are tough in this game. It's,
Yeah.
Okay, and then you wanted to do a telekinesis.
Correct.
Yep. Let's. I think if you. Yeah, actually, this is pretty. Yeah, if you spend a hold, you don't have to roll anything. This is
Okay.
pretty basic. Yeah. Yeah. You pull the gun out of his hand, and that actually like pulls him off balance, and he just tumbles to the floor. And it's pretty clear that the left side of his body is frozen up. Like, not frozen, but paralyzed.
Yeah, he's
right?
stroked out.
Yeah. And he's still like grabbing onto the grating of the floor and trying to pull himself towards you. And
I basically just stand over him and I hit him with the iron blast.
okay,
Just
yeah, Poof. He just flattens out and is on the ground. Doctor, what are you looking like?
Yeah. I am bloody.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I think he actually hit the same arm that he got blasted.
Yeah.
And so like I have like all these scars like from the lightning, and now it's like I have a chunk out of my arm. Like,
I
it's
also
like-
forgot. You took wounds, right?
Yeah, I took actual wounds.
Okay, so we need to roll +2 because you took 2 wounds.
I did.
Like past vitality.
Okay.
Yep.
Would you say that I escalated a situation to the use of violence or force?
Yeah, that seems fair.
I rolled a 3.
That's good. You want to roll low on this.
Oh, good. Awesome. Okay.
So is that with your +2?
No, 5 with the
Same difference, actually. So yeah, the 6 minus on suffer wounds is A-okay. Nothing worse happens.
Awesome.
7
okay.
to 9, it escalates a little, and don't roll a 10+ on
Okay.
suffer wounds.
Good to know.
Very bad things happen.
Good to know. Okay.
And I do like this. I like the way this Star Wars game makes things like fairly dangerous without being immediately deadly. But bad things can happen. So, okay,
I'm gonna run up and check on Crank.
okay,
Like,
you're like
I'm like-
smoking,
right?
yeah,
But still, like he's
Okay.
like it's important.
yep. So
Actually, at this point, I sort of take over and I go, "No, you take him, med bay now. I got this guy. I'll take him over. Look, see if you can look into what his arm is doing. I'm going to strap him down to an examination desk before he starts coming to." And I sort of take command of the situation at that point and
okay.
say that.
So just to be clear, you want Alameus to take Stitch to the
med
med bay,
take a look at his arm, because if the medic goes out, we're totally fucked. And I'm gonna take Crank. I'm gonna pull him over my shoulder, and I'm basically gonna tie him down to one of the examination tables to make sure if he does come to,
Also
he's
in the
restrained
med, right?
in the med bay.
Yeah, I think
So
we
we're all
probably
in one
have
space,
2
yeah.
beds in there,
Yeah.
so that's probably fine. Is that?
And I'm complaining the whole time, like, sir, like, I need to help him. He's like, what's wrong with him?
As you're like
bleeding
bleeding your words.
Yeah, exactly.
I need to do surgery on him.
And I'm like, if you fall unconscious or die on me, that'll be far worse for everybody here. You're a priority now. We'll restrain him. I have a scanner on him, and I'm gonna give you the readings while you're going under treatment. Got it, Mike?
An additional thing I'd like both of you to do. This phrase that he was muttering, "Good soldiers follow orders," is echoing in your mind. And I'd like both of you to roll cool. This is just like a custom cool bullshit roll. Story game bullshit.
Story game bullshit. So that would be a 7 for me.
Okay.
11.
Okay. So on the 11, you are conscious of the fact that there's like something in your mind working against, like, that isn't you, right? And there's something wrong. And the only thing that you could explain that with is like some sort of like technology or something. Like, I don't think this world thinks a lot in terms of like hypnotic suggestion or that sort of thing.
Right.
So I think it would, like, your first assumption would be like, oh, there's some kind of like
Something in my
computer or implant or something that could like make me do something. You, on the other hand, know that you're like, you just like you're back to, your hackles go up, and you that phrase is just rolling around in your mind. You don't have to act on it, but it's so unsettling. Like you almost feel nauseous, right? From resisting it.
Did he say that to me when I was being taken, like when I was trying to argue with him? Like, good soldiers follow orders, stop it.
Yeah, I mean, he said it in the hallway,
Yeah.
and was like muttering. You couldn't understand him at first, and then he raised his voice because also like half his mouth doesn't work. And,
Right.
No,
did I say it to me? Like when he was telling me to go back, like didn't realize it kind of thing.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah, you said it back.
Okay.
And then over the intercom, you hear threes are like, "What is happening back there?" Like he's heard blaster fire and all this stuff, like shouting and crashing around and.
I just basically reply, hit a button that said "Squad meeting medbay." Put it on autopilot.
I mean, you're in Lightspeed's hyperspace, so you don't really have to. He doesn't have to do anything. He's just like sitting up there.
Quick plan. Get down here.
Okay.
This guy strapped into a table
Yeah.
over here.
All right. Let's do a med roll for you. What are you supposed to roll for med stuff? Because he has to do it now.
Right. So it looks like I use stock for my med kit. Is how this works.
Okay. Well, I don't think he's.
Well, so
We might have like
is
some
not
extra
as trained.
stock. Yeah, he's not trained.
And
He
I
has equipment.
don't think you all have like a full-on med doc, like the doc droid thing that's like half the droid attached to the bed,
Yeah.
Right. I did take the med bay though. Like that's actually one of the moves I did.
Okay, cool.
So-
What does that specifically do? Does it say?
It basically, you get an infirmary, workspace for life support, drug lab, crew if you need them. Get patients into it, and you can work on them like a gearhead or tech.
Oh, right. That's okay. So, actually, here's what we'll do. You're sort of directing him, like,
Okay. Yeah.
how to do this. So, I'm gonna either. What does it have you roll usually plus your stock?
Like I said, it's normally I plus my stock that I use.
Just
my
the
med
stock.
kit. Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm either gonna have you roll plus stock with disadvantage, or you can roll cool and see what happens without disadvantage.
Either way, I'm.
You have a positive cool
I
stat.
have a negative. I have a neutral.
0.
Okay, then I can try to do it, and I'll just use all my stock. Like I'm like.
Okay.
Or not all, but 3.
Yeah. You can use 3 at
Yeah.
a time. So.
Yeah.
Probably the wiser option.
Okay.
roll
So yeah.
disadvantage?
So you're okay with him like directing you, like no, get those bandages. Stab me with that immediately,
Right.
please.
Put that there. No, that there.
Yeah.
Doctor, heal thyself.
Yeah.
No, that's my toxins. Leave him alone.
Okay.
Right.
So roll 3 and take the lower 2.
5. Yeah. 8.
8. Okay, great. And what does it say on your roll? Well, I have to give you the gearhead sheet.
Okay.
That's what I was looking for.
For my stock thing, roll from the stock on a hit, you
just
stabilize all and heal all wounds. And then, and so you choose 2 of the other options, these options.
All right. So here's the workspace move
Okay.
from the gearhead.
Okay, and I'm guessing you want to read the options, those 2
Oh yeah.
down there.
Okay. Even sedated, they fight you. So I am gonna have you roll acting under pressure.
Okay.
I get to choose 2 of these. Ooh, fun. And we have to spend an extra stock. I think mainly because you're not super skilled at doing this, and
Right.
you're like wasting some materials. So you actually spend 4 stock.
Okay.
And yeah, just act under pressure. Ooh, that looks good.
That's a 9.
9. Okay. So the I think the 7 to 9 in this case puts us right about where we thought we would end up. Like, spent extra stock. He's fighting. It's problematic. At a 10 plus, I was gonna like undo some of that, but I think 7 to 9 puts us right about where we think we are. Like,
Okay.
this is a terrible situation that
Yeah.
nobody is happy about. So yeah, the 2 of you are sort of like fighting, and I mean not fighting, but you know,
Right.
you're trying to put him back together, and he's like losing his patience because also, Stitch, there's like this growing irritation in your mind, you know, where it's like irrational anger. But with your Stitch, your earlier role, you're acutely aware. Like you have this like separated awareness of like, why am I angry? Like
Right.
I'm so angry and I don't like. Where is this coming from? So
Right.
you're having this like dual experience of, but you know,
Almost
also-
like he's in that med bay and he's sort of observing himself
Yeah.
go through this thing, and
Yeah.
there's sort of like this extraneous consciousness going,
Yeah.
what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Sort of
Right.
separated out from yourself.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
And let's do. So you're hooking up Crank.
Yeah, and I'm basically whatever sort of like CT scanner type of thing that they have. I'm basically just trying to figure out what happened to his brain.
Okay. Let's do active repression.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no. I want a canny roll. Okay, basically we're doing act under pressure with canny instead of cool.
Okay.
Because you're not really under fire. I mean, there's a tense situation, but it's also like this equipment requires some smarts.
Right.
So
I'm trying to basically to focus in my intellect while this is all these stressors are going on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's something that I'm not particularly well trained to do.
Right.
Okay. So that would be a 7.
Okay. So the 7 is going to cost you. So the I think the worst outcome here is that you're lining this stuff up, and the CT scan starts. You're getting like he's laying on the bed and you're getting this 3D, like in Serenity, you know, where they scan her brain and there's like all that like live 3D hologram there, and you can describe. I don't want to say you become frozen, but the like psychological horror of like you see this embedded piece of technology and realizing all clone like you must have one in your brain too is like kind of horrifying, right? I think you've got a little bit of that like freeze moment, but what is that actually like? Do you freeze or what?
No, I think what's great is that I basically sort of like crack a little bit, and I go, I gotta get that out of him. I gotta get that out of him. And I start basically searching for like a laser scalpel.
Sure, yeah.
And you see me pull out a laser scalpel and go at Crank's head.
Yeah, you've
And-
got all the
and you
materials
guys-
available
and
to
basically,
brain surgery.
these guys figure out what I'm doing, and they sort of like grab me and drag me off of him because I'm basically cutting his.
Well, that's going to have to be Threeser pulling you off of him. Would somebody like to roll the Go in Blazing for Threeser?
Not me, because I roll horribly this game.
But maybe as Threeser,
I'm perfectly
maybe
happy to
I'll do it.
resolve it for myself.
as our ace. No, I want somebody else to roll.
Okay.
All right, I'll do it.
Okay, cool. We'll give Threeser a 0 rugged. That sounds about right. It's the wrong person to pull an ARC trooper off.
Nobody's doing the right thing.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah, that is really what's happening right
Really
now.
what happened right now. Everybody's like, this is not my role, but I'm doing my best.
All right. So on the 7 and 9, how do you injure Threezer when he pulls you off?
He pulls me off, but I as he goes to drag me, I actually turn on the laser scalpel and I basically cut him right on the neck, and he starts bleeding.
Yeah.
And basically, I figure out what I'm doing. Then I'm basically trying to put pressure on his shit. It's like, oh shit! So
that's
I'm
probably
freaking
what
out.
pulls you out of it. It's like suddenly he's like,
Oh shit!
what?
I'm gonna go shit.
Yeah. So didn't get the jugular, but it's a very scary looking
It's a very
wound,
scary
right?
looking
Of like,
wound,
oh
exactly.
god, I just cut your throat.
Yeah,
like, okay, so the two of you are like, Threezer like pulls you off, you injure him, and he kind of like falls back and slumps against the cabinet. It's like, Lieutenant.
And then I throw the scalpel
Yeah.
on him like, oh fuck, and I just grab something out like a towel off there, and I just start applying pressure. You're gonna be okay, Threezer. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so ultimately he's only got 2 wounds, or two vitality.
Right.
But it looks ugly.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
It's you got like a little bit in the jaw, and a face wound's always a bleeder. Like it just looks horrible. Yeah. And you two are at the table. Well, you're on your own table. Oh yeah, Crank's tied down and unconscious. So we're out of the worst of the chaos in this moment. What happens next?
Am I like I'm okay now, right? Like
You're sedated. Not sedated. You're anesthetized.
Okay, so
Right,
my
you-
arm is numb.
Yeah,
like,
you
from
have
the
some
blast or
painkiller.
whatever, but
So we'll undo the minus. What does that do to you? Having the.
You choose it. No.
Oh yeah,
nothing.
never mind.
I hadn't
Yeah,
I hadn't chosen.
Yeah, that's not how
and
that works.
The skill made me let me erase my wounds. So my wounds are gone. I still have my vitality.
Just vitality?
hits,
Okay.
But I'm wounds
Okay,
now.
great.
And so I think I'm like standing up and trying to help now to like the bleed unfreeze. I want to like make sure he's okay.
Yeah. That's
And
the most
with,
urgent
with my
injury in
left
the room.
arm, like I'm like trying to do it. But aren't clones ambidextrous? Or am I mixing
Probably,
that
yeah.
up with something
That's
else?
a more efficient soldier.
Yeah,
Yes.
it just
So,
makes sense to me.
I assume they are.
Django was so right.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
They're all like Jingo.
I know.
Why are you smiling?
I'm probably putting the bed tables between me and them.
Oh yeah.
'Cause I'm still a little wary of all this going on.
Gee, why?
Yeah, just a little bit of like things in the air.
So, all right. So that's the scene right now. Everybody's sort of like still in the med bay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go towards you, and I'm gonna basically have my hands up. And,
Covered in blood.
Covered in blood.
Yeah.
I'm basically going on. No, I just need to talk to you in private, and I just sort of take you over to the corner, and I just sort of whisper at you. I says, "Look, everything's to shit. I know your master's in here, but you need to provide some leadership and take control of the situation. I think that in our construction, something was done to us, and we need to figure that out. You're the only one that can think clearly right now. We're all losing our minds."
Okay.
And it's broken words like that. He's basically trying to put it together. He's in a lot of shock, and there's a lot of background noise going on in his brain, and he's trying to break through it.
Yeah.
So you can tell that he's semi-glazed over in his vision when he's talking to you, and he's almost shaky. And you've seen this guy take E-web blasts and dodge them and
Sure.
not be scared at all.
Right.
But now he seems terrified.
Okay. You at least look like you're thinking quickly.
Yeah, I look like I'm thinking clearly, and I've like now moved Threezer over to
Threezer's
the
just
sting.
frightened. Like
Right,
came
yeah.
into the room and was attacked. Basically,
Yeah.
like what is going on?
So I like put him down and like telling him like nice words, like it's gonna be don't worry,
Yeah.
the commander's figuring it out. We got this. Don't worry. Like I'm like just like calming it like him down.
Huh? Okay.
Okay, in Stitch,
Yes, sir.
look at these scans. Ice says that there's something implanted in your heads. You need to get them out.
That makes a lot of sense, sir. Okay. Yeah. I'll
Start
do
with
that.
him.
Okay.
And basically, what Ice is doing right now is that he's took off his pistol and gave it to you. He's basically taken off his armor right now, and he's sort of prepping himself for. He doesn't want to be in a position where he can cause anybody harm anymore.
Sure.
So he's sort of like stripping himself down to his under suit or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's just going to sit down in the corner and wait his turn. And he's kind of like has his hands wrapped up in front of him, and he's sort of like rocking back and forth a little bit.
That's awesome.
You've got the open table that you got up from.
Right.
So
That's awesome. And when I see him do that, I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. And I walk up to, like, I grab my blaster and I walk up and I hand it to you. And I'm like, I trust the Jedi. And I hand you my blaster.
Right.
And then I walk over and I'm like, Threeser.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, like what is happening? And he like has a boot knife. You're like, I didn't even know you had a boot knife. Jesus, guy. Like, it's like I'm like serrated, like
Like some Klingon shit.
Let's go.
I'll store those.
Nice.
But also when
then-
you say you trust the Jedi, Crank like he's like eyes are like he's out, but his right hand is like empty and is like pulling a trigger, like
That's
just
rough,
like
man.
kind of like half up and just jerking, right?
Right. Aimed at me, I'm assuming.
Well, it's kind of he's out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
He's just like
Responding to the words.
yeah.
Okay. And then I want to like do a scan on Crank and like
Yeah.
like get him up in the chair. Like
I just want to make sure that I let you know that I did restrain Crank in the bed.
Yeah. It's the amount that he's able to like.
I just want to make
Yeah.
clear that that is something I was
So I kind of go up to Ice. I'm like, sir, could you please get in the chair? We can. Okay. That's right.
Roll an urge.
Yeah.
He almost looks like an addict. That's
yeah.
going through the
Yeah.
last phases of his
Yep.
And
breakthrough to.
I'm like, sir, I trust you with my life, but I would like to tie you down for this.
And I basically just turn around and I look you straight in the eye, almost like close, and I go, "You do what you gotta do." And
Yes.
he lies down.
Nice. So yeah, I strap him down.
And then you say you do what you got to do, and what you hear is good soldiers follow orders.
Oh crap! That's awesome.
And you sort of like part of your mind again. You're
Yeah.
riding on this successful roll of like
Yeah.
that's not what he said, but I'm not sure what he said.
Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, crap. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna do that then, and I wanna do that. I want to take it out of him.
Okay. Brain surgery time.
Yeah.
Sweet.
What could go wrong?
No, I mean Star Wars game brain surgery is the first thing I think.
Right.
I think
It makes a logical conclusion.
our
I
Padawan
knew it
is
was gonna
probably
happen.
prepared to help.
Yes.
Right? Threeser is not gravely injured, but is also not prepared to help with surgery at all.
Right.
I don't think this is a stock roll. I think this is just straight up canny check.
Cool.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah. I don't see a way out of this being a canny roll. So
Okay.
let's do that.
Would you like to look at the? Or okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we have all the resources of the med bay.
It would either, the only other thing I could think of would be a act under pressure. Otherwise,
Yeah,
than
but
just a straight up candy roll.
I'm good with Canny.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
just-
think in this case you're not under fire. It's just scary, you
Yeah.
know. But
I'm working on my commander, taking something out of his head that I know is going to try to control him and
Right.
me at the same time.
Right.
And I'm like,
So I think the extent, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I imagine Stitch has handled like a fractured skull,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
But maybe not actually done exploratory brain surgery.
I think
Does
that's
that
true.
seem fair?
Yeah,
Okay.
for
Yeah,
sure.
and I'm watching this intently because I know someone's going to have to do it on him.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I
but
have the
think
recorders
you've,
going
flipped
to
on the
like,
recorders, right? Like
Oh,
you-
fucking YouTube, goddammit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Done by a Jedi.
So
Yeah. Hey, this is Stitch coming at you from YouTube.
Welcome to the jungle, baby.
Welcome to brain surgery.
yeah, if
Like,
we-
share, subscribe.
If we didn't have the med bay, we'd have to roll with disadvantage. But I
Right.
think, and if you had done brain surgery before, maybe it would have given you advantage. But I don't think that makes sense in this
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
situation. So let's roll canny.
Cool. Before I do that, can I like pull any information like of, hey, these are obviously not how to take out a clone through things, but like best practices for brain surgery or like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
to get
I think
myself
your
a
med
little
bay
bit-
has all that
Yeah, the med bay
information.
would
Okay,
have
right?
so
Like-
that's just
yeah.
giving me the even roll. Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. You definitely have some information available, but you've never like this is all like reading the manual as you're.
It's kind of like Master and
Right.
Commander when the guy was trying to do the surgery on the surgeon.
Yeah.
And he was just
Yeah.
looking at the book and his hands were all
Yeah.
shaking.
Exactly.
That's kind of how. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
One thing I would let you do. What's your canny total?
3.
3. I think if you want to spend a stock, we can get you to +4. But
Yeah.
in PBTA, you should never have more than a +4
Right.
on a roll because otherwise the
Yeah,
whole
it's
system
pretty
falls
tough.
apart.
Yeah. I 100% spend the stock.
Okay.
Because my idea here is that the commander should be in full faculty, or
Yeah.
even over me. So, like, I need to get him fully functional. Okay. Okay. So, as I start to cut into your skull, like, you have to be awake for brain surgery, right? So, I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. We're gonna take care of this.
Yeah, I mean you can anesthetize, but
Right.
yeah,
But like,
you
you don't feel the pain, but you're awake.
all these
Yeah.
like different, like 3 different needles of like.
The sound, the whole yards. And I look at you and I'm like, may the force be with us.
Ooh, that's good.
Oh yeah, thank God.
What is that?
That was an 11 on the dice.
That's a 15 total.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, you're not that out.
Okay. Good news. So, you open this up and you realize, this is right down the middle of where the 2 hemispheres of the brain come together. It's like lodged right in the middle. You're able to definitely disconnect the pieces of that and withdraw this little square chip that when it comes free of the kind of like
Neurons or
the bioenergy, it like shorts and blackens if it's on fire. But it, like you pull it free and it's like and like it doesn't crumble, but it looks like a burnt piece of electronics. So
Self-destruct.
There goes second plan. Okay.
but you will have advantage when you remove more chips.
Cool.
So and you will not have to roll with disadvantage when you remove his. So
Awesome.
let's
No, get a 15. There should be some really good things
Yeah.
happen, and that some really good things happen.
Right, that's
you-
awesome.
You
Okay.
need to be asleep for a little while.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense.
Crank is probably the next one
Yeah.
we should go to. So let's roll with advantage for Crank.
Okay.
And I do want to add I don't want to tell you how to play your character, but I'm imagining this like sweaty, stressed,
100%.
but also like encouraged by the success of this. You pulled this thing out, the vital signs on ice went like boo, boop, boop, boop,
Yeah,
boop, boop,
that's awesome.
boop, boop. Like strong heartbeat. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I did it. Okay. But
And I think as I'm working, I'm talking about what I'm doing to calm my nerves.
Yeah.
Okay, so this goes here. This part of the brain is this, and I'm pointing it out to you, just like I'm teaching someone, as I'm going.
Yeah,
But
I mean, you're probably flashing back to your cadaver, your
Right.
theater, Operation Theater training.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay, so cranks. Cool. Okay. That's a 9.
Okay. So on this one, the well,
No, I lied. 10.
Oh,
Right?
it is a 10.
Yeah, it is 10.
okay.
7 plus 3 is 10. Not
Yes,
9.
it is.
Yeah.
That is correct
That
math.
is correct math.
Math is
Okay.
dumb. No.
So there's a little bit of a hairy moment where you think you got a 9, but you actually got a 10. and
Oh crap! I cut the wrong thing. No, it's fine.
Oh, bad math.
So as you withdraw this thing, you think okay, I've got at least he's gonna be fine. I don't know about this stroke, and then you realize that the scan is showing you something. You understand what you're looking at, it wasn't like a regular stroke. I can actually reconnect some of these things.
Oh, awesome.
And you see his left hand twitch as you do.
Awesome.
So you close up the wound, and seems to be sleeping a lot more peacefully. So should we get a freezer? Somebody
yeah.
needs to be out of a bed first.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Although
Well, you could
freezer
always-
seems less urgent too. So
Yeah, but you could always just put me in my bunk once I've stabilized.
That's true.
Yeah.
True.
To recover. And there's probably some kind of like girdle or
I
something.
think they just float you down.
Yeah,
You just
I
tell
so,
them,
like, just-
Yeah.
you Jedi me over there.
Yeah.
Jedi.
But you don't have to spend for that. That's an easy one. You don't have to do anything for that level of telekinesis. If he didn't want you to lift him up, then we'd have to do
Yeah.
something. But he doesn't want anything right now.
I want it all and nothing.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's roll for threes.
Freezer.
I hate rolling this many dice. I'm like, oh
I know,
god,
right?
like I just need.
Come on, Freezer.
Okay, cool. No, same. 10.
Okay, great. The same result comes through the surgery. You're able to take him back to his bunk,
Yep.
and we're down to 1.
Okay. Awesome. Okay.
So you've got to watch the procedure 3 times. There's a full recording of what to do, documented process.
And I'm like, okay, so now remember, just be calm, keep your hands steady. Like I'm telling you all this stuff that like Jedis totally know and have down pat. And I'm just
There
like,
is no emotion.
blah, blah, blah.
Hey,
Oh,
there you
that's
go.
a great line. They should have taught me that in med school. Like,
That's an XP right there. So
And I'm gonna take my
before
roll for
we
that.
do surgery roll,
It's mine.
roll deep for me. So I trust your feelings.
That is a 5.
Okay.
Sorry, 6.
Okay. So the 6, you're pretty sure this is gonna something's gonna go wrong, but there's no way to. The only way out is through.
Right.
So not doing it's gonna be worse, but this is doomed. This is
Yep.
as he's like.
I'm like strapping myself down to the table. I'm like,
Right.
this is gonna be fine. This is fine. This is 100% fine.
Totally fine. Totally fine.
It's probably okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try something different.
Okay.
I'm going to see if I can telekinetically crush it instead of doing open brain surgery.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I don't see why you couldn't try that.
Because I know where it is. I've seen it 3 times. I know the location of where that thing is.
Yep.
So instead of having to cut his head open,
Yeah. Maybe you could even disintegrate,
Yeah,
right?
just-
That sort of thing.
So, wouldn't that be like a search your feelings to find it, and then a force thing to actually do it?
Well, it's when you try something new and weird with the force,
Yeah.
you'll spend your hold and roll deep because this is a little outside your purview. But I can't imagine anything going wrong with crushing a little tiny piece of technology inside someone's brain.
no,
Yeah.
of course not.
As you close your eyes to do this, I'm like, what are you doing? It's right there. It's
Why are
right,
your
the,
eyes
the
closed?
thing's right there.
Why are your eyes closed?
4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Trust the force.
Oh, that was so tense.
I legitimately got chills right there for a second. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna
That's fair,
I'm
you
gonna
know.
stroke out on this
Oh,
game.
good.
To be honest, we've hardly done anything in this game other than sort of like
Yeah, it turned
the
into
fuck is going
a
on?
little bit of a horror game.
but it's so freaking tense. I'm already exhausted.
All right. So, you just feel this pressure that you didn't even notice, right? It's like when the AC turns off and you're
Right.
like, oh, there was a noise.
Yeah.
And then you pass out, right?
Okay.
That's a lot of brain trauma either
Yeah.
way. So, you pass out. We'll fast forward a little bit to a couple hours before we're going to come out of light speed. Everyone's had some sleep. Crank is mostly recovered. He's got a limp, and his left hand doesn't work the way it used to, but it works. But he's not like slurring or, he's like 90% stroke recovery. Like, I don't know, I've had stroke in my family. It's
Yeah, I get it.
I'm fairly familiar with how this works. So, pretty good recovery overall. And is able to, resume duties. But is there like a big conversation about what happened, or is this we don't need to talk about this?
No, I think that what ends up happening is once everybody's come to and we've actually come out of hyperspace and we're in orbit around the treehouse. We're not really docking yet. I think what's happening is that everybody sort of gets up from that very stressful day and all the meds, and we sort of meet for breakfast.
Oh yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a la Aliens sort of like breakfast thing, where everybody's like not really. They're basically in their under thing.
How do I transfer out of this chicken shit
Yeah.
outfit?
It's game over, man. But
As long as nobody gets heartburn.
and there are plastic bottles of blue milk and shit flying around,
Right.
just eating, and it's really quiet to begin with until everybody's
clanking silverware and the.
And I'm quiet, which is totally weird.
But I just want to see who's the person that's going to break the silence first. Everybody's sort of like insecure. Everybody's like going, "What the fuck just happened?"
It's not Crank. Probably would be Threeser, but Threeser's quiet, so it's up to you three.
How you all feeling?
Like I got something yanked out of my brain.
Yeah, what he said.
Crank, you can hear this like hard swallow that he makes, and clears his throat a couple times, and he says, "This is what he's saying is causing him pain." Commander, I apologize. And like, he means it. He hates having to apologize to anyone, but like.
You don't have to apologize, Crank. It wasn't your doing.
Well, I would like to find whoever's doing that was. And, he's just like.
And I think that every other trooper in the entire, when he says that, sort of tenses up a little bit. Just a little flex of like, fuck yeah.
Someone like bends a fork in their hand. Right? I think Stitch at this point would be like, what we did yesterday was probably the first time something like that's ever been done. We freed ourselves from this. And I don't just mean the chips.
Ice is, well, his name is Ice, so he's not really prone to emotional outbursts. So, but the thing is, he sort of like takes his tray, just throws it up against the wall, and yells, "If the motherfuckers wanted droids, why didn't they just build droids?"
Legitimately shocked. Just like, holy crap, I've never seen that from him.
And he sort of like, he catches himself, like is like, oh my shit, I can't believe I just did that, and sort of calmly sits back down, grabs his coffee, and just takes a sip. And you can see that his hand's a little shaky as he's putting it back.
You know, I think I'll just quietly get up, walk over, pick the tray up, go get some more food, on the tray, bring it back over, set it down.
And a very slight nod of appreciation because he's really embarrassed about what just happened, but he's just sitting there. He's sort of muttering to himself a little bit. And he'll actually take in some chow just because he's programmed to take chow.
Right.
But the irony of him acting like a robot while he's thinking like, why the fuck did you just make robots? Just
That's awesome.
Yesterday, if you had that kind of outburst, we probably would have seen Threeser like wide-eyed what is happening. But we actually like, it was like circles under his eyes, and he's not like totally down the dark path like Craig,
Right.
But was not so shocked and put off by your outburst, but like gets up because his tray, he's like putting his tray away, and he gets another coffee, and says, I second that, LT. I gotta go bring us in, and it, just heads out to the cockpit, and he's just so like down tempo,
Right.
Like Threeser's usually like kind of a weirdo,
Right.
yeah.
So I kind of look around and like, I agree. But the question is now, who do we serve?
I think you serve yourselves. I think you're free men. You're no longer beholden to the Republic. The Republic no longer exists.
No, we aren't free.
Oh yeah, actually, in the hours that you've been out of hyperspace, you're getting all this like news updates and.
We're not free, we're hunted men. There's no freedom.
Galaxy's large. There are many places out.
even if we go out to the outer rims or the unknown reaches, bounty hunters will still be looking for us, especially you.
They won't be looking for you.
And they'll probably just wait us out. We'll all be dead in 20 years anyway.
They have no reason to look for you. Me? I'm a wanted man. But I can.
Since when have troopers hidden from anything?
Since they stopped being troopers.
And he like sits back.
Think about it. We're no longer troopers. We're no longer members of the Republic Army. We're no longer members of anything larger than just ourselves. I don't know about you, brother, but I feel empty. I feel like I have no meaning or purpose, and that I've shattered that meaning in trying to kill my brothers, even if it were by accident. So not only do I leave, but I leave with no grace.
You didn't kill me.
Every fiber of me wanted to, and I
But
can't
you
explain to you why.
Didn't.
Crank looks up from the data pad. You know, they've been like scrolling through all the news and a number of things, and then you see him like kind of like tapping away and being a little bit more engaged, and then looks up and says, "I hear you, but what if there's a way that we could help other clones like us?"
Ice kind of perks up, backs up in the chair, just so. Go on.
There's a database, Coruscant, with all of our records. And there are little differences. They can track us. And they're going to try to put us down. You probably first. But if we could get to that database, I could strip the records of every clone trooper, every Jedi that they are tracking, and at least slow them down.
How do we make that kind of choice without orders?
Very well.
And Crank just shrugs. He's like, this is what I got.
Look, I'm a little bit different than you guys as an arc. I was trained to think independently. So, I guess I can try to teach you how to make your own orders.
Wow.
I don't feel right ordering you to do it. You're no longer under my command.
I don't feel right not doing it. I think that right now we're creatures without purpose. And something inside me tells me that in seeking that purpose, that's the only route to establish our new lives. And I see no better purpose than to help our brothers. If they're just going to throw us in a trash heap like I said before, why did they not just build droids?
I'm going regardless.
I don't. You go to Coruscant? That's suicide, man.
There's no death. We're in the Force.
How many Jedi were in your temple? How many bodies are there? Who?
Unknown.
There are still many of us, and we have no culture. And for all we know, there's only one of you, but you hold one.
No, we do have culture. Our culture is we stick together.
Our culture is we don't fight for the war, we fight for the man next to us.
Brother.
Crank says, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah.
Slams his fist in his good hand on the table. You know?
Fuck it, if we're gonna do it, let's do it. He pulls a data slate out and he starts looking at it, goes, and I'm gonna take it that this database is in this location, and we start basically just turns into a planning montage.
Yeah.
I like
So-
that. yeah.
It's
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, where everybody's going in, and you see Crank going, well, these security systems, and you see me putting you in another thing of clone armor and teaching you how to stand and hold the blaster.
I think
that's
there's
sick.
also a moment where you guys are like, well, okay, but there's no way we can fly through that. We're gonna have to like go up here and go down. And Threeser walks by, is like, I can fly through that. And you're like, I don't. Well,
I don't think that'll fit, man. I'll tell you what'll fit. Yeah. So I got a big old thing where everybody started like chipping in and doing their thing. Everybody's sort of recovering.
and also in the background you've docked at the treehouse. Threeser's looking into like getting some supplies and just taking care of some of that
changing
stuff.
the transponder on the ship, maybe changing some cosmetic things on the outside, talking to some seedy aliens about getting information, doing basically like maybe some side jobs, stealing some shit to pay for
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Trying to find out anybody like on Coruscant that can get us like down on.
Well, and the
planet.
good thing too is your mission was largely off book,
Right.
and your G-Drock is definitely like just some random ship in the
Right.
Empire,
There are millions of them everywhere.
Yep.
So it's one of the most popular light stock freighters out there.
Yeah, so that's an advantage. Yeah.
Quick question. Sorry to ask a mechanical question. All
That's
this good
fine.
stuff, but I would like to try to restock some of my stuff, but I have no idea how much cred I have.
Well, there's a thing on here that tells you how
It
much.
should say on the front.
On your, if you have a gear. There we go.
2 cred.
I have 1 credit.
Oh, I have 1 cred. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna do that to restock some of my stock.
If you need more cred, you can have my 2 cred. Because I don't.
Well, we'll see if you have. Is there something else we're gonna have to spend cred on right now?
You tell me.
No, we're actually we're probably going to have to bribe some people or try to buy information about where troops are, what we can do if there's any other troopers that have been gone quote unquote missing. Just general information of what we can get. So I see the part of the montage is us doing some kind of shady shit to get money.
Yeah.
Well,
To do this.
here's something. They don't know you don't have chips. They don't know you didn't do your job.
Right. Well, that's why part of the montage is me putting you in some clone
Yeah,
trooper
who's to
armor.
say you didn't do your job? You could just fly right in.
Right.
Mission accomplished.
I love the idea of you putting him, like, giving him clone armor and him, like, coming out and he's, like, in full clone armor with a lightsaber attack. So he's saying,
Yeah.
no.
Hold on.
Okay, has anybody got a fanny pack? Put it in the boot.
Nice.
Actually, maybe make a housing on the outside so it looks like a flashlight.
Yeah.
Oh,
A
that's cool.
flashlight or like the barrel of a
Yeah,
blaster.
or I
that's,
take out the underslung iron thing like I
Yeah.
have, and instead of that, it just drops the lightsaber.
Yeah, and then you
sick.
just like break
Okay.
away and like
Or even like a mouse droid that follows you around and just shoot the lightsaber out to you.
I like it.
So we probably do have to raise some money because for folks listening, the Apocalypse World systems usually have like Apocalypse World has Jingle or Cash or Cred or lots of different games have this. So it's sort of an abstracted economy, and like restocking your kit is what, like 3 cred. Or
It's
something,
1
right?
cred per 2 items.
Yeah. So a full restock is 3 cred, but also like a ship would be 5 cred. It's just abstracted to represent
Resource.
that you have access to. So the contents of a med kit are expensive and valuable. So it makes sense that's kind of expensive. But like a blaster, you could probably get a case of blasters for 1 cred. Like that's
Depending on where in the galaxy you are, yeah, you can get
Yeah.
them super cheap or you can get them super expensive because it's hard to get weapons onto Alderaan.
right.
Yeah.
But here at the treehouse, getting weapons easy. Getting medical supplies more expensive.
It's an abstraction of how difficult it is to get that, and do I have the ability to overcome that difficulty?
Right. But knowing that you want to get into Coruscant, you want to have like landing orders. You want to have, kind of the ability to get through some of these places and planning ahead to being able to get into the database room. And you're going to need officer clearance and, getting all that kind of stuff together.
This is turned into a heist movie at this point.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that whole thing is basically us prepping for the heist, without belaboring the story. So we're totally in. We gotta go into that database and get that fucking data. Yeah.
So, what is
anybody that's been wounded?
Oh yeah,
has it been long enough?
Yeah, we'll just
get
clear
rid of
those
that?
out.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially since I think most of it's vitality at this point. So, elements.
Yes.
What is what are your immediate tasks at the treehouse to do the preparations for the incursion?
Well, I'm going to try and figure out how to act like a clone warrior, a trooper. Because disguise will be helpful. I will build a breakaway housing for my lightsaber, so it's not visible; it's hidden somewhere. And then I'm going to probably reach out to see if I can figure out if there's any contacts I can reach that aren't going to, say, hey, aren't you supposed to be dead?
Well, probably your underworld contacts probably don't know that you're a Jedi. Like the person who they think of as is not a Jedi person.
Not everybody works like Qui-Gon Jinn, just throwing Jedi dick everywhere.
Yeah. So,
but you gotta respect that to a point.
I totally respect that. It's fucking Liam Neeson. He's got the dick to throw. Love you, man.
All right, so let's do the put the word out or hit the Jura Creed actually. If you check in with a contact, shop for something special. You're gonna roll Suave. Unless you have like a special Sentinel move for that.
Not for this.
Oh, you know what? Actually, also just for fun because it's a one shot. Let's assume everyone had 5 XP. Keep how much XP you have right now and take an advance.
Okay.
Right? So if there's something jumping out at you, you could take a move from your playbook. You could take something from another playbook. You could get a bonus to an attribute. Just let me know what you pick.
I think if you sent the move, which
Perfect.
And I will take a bounty hunter move called Membership Has Its Purse. And I will join a local
you've joined the guild.
Bounty hunter guild.
Excellent. Excellent.
That's awesome.
Really
I gotta find a job after this. So, hey, I can actually get some info out of this, and then I can just get to work.
That's right. I'm going to take the move Prognosis Positive, which basically lets me ask a bunch of questions if I have someone to work on and stuff.
Yeah.
And I have a plan.
Excellent. Well, let's go back to your underworld contacts then.
So I'm gonna see if there's a way to get into the database.
Yep.
That's 6, 7, 8.
Okay. What's that say?
On a 7 to 9, choose one. Whoever you're going to is juggling their own problems, or whatever you need is more costly than anticipated.
I think it's more expensive because it turns out, like a certain level of officer would have access to the building, but the person you go to talk to, we've got this, let's say a Twi'lek bar owner at the treehouse. What's her bar called?
Scoops.
Scoops. And her name is Scoop. Yeah. So she's blue skinned, with her leku, and a lot of Twi'leks are depicted in this very skimpy clothes. So she has a full tunic, almost businessy, like a business person, right? But you go to the bar. She kind of sits at the bar with a data pad and she's not the bartender. She's she just owns the place, right? So she hangs out there a lot. You go to talk to her, and it turns out what she has is a planetary governor's ID.
Okay.
Not like the governor of all Coruscant, but they're a number of people who govern districts on Coruscant. And she this will be good for a couple weeks, but it's the only ID I have that's at that level. She has lower level stuff, but so this is a lot more expensive than you thought, and she wants 3 cred for it. So that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. I only have 2.
If you need an extra credit, I have an extra credit to throw in.
Alright, well, there we have 3 cred.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
let him know that you need some money, and
I figure we're pooling money to do shit, and he's going out to get info. I figured we were like, oh, here, just do it.
yeah, it should have been like a 2 cred purchase, but that's the complication. It's expensive. So
So now we have a Governor Planetary.
yep, and it's good for like a couple weeks before they figure out that this is stolen and it's gonna go back. So, what are you up to?
I am researching who is the head data analyst in that center,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm searching through the guild records, and I want to ask who is close to them, so that we may kidnap them and use them as leverage to make them do stuff for us.
Getting dark. All right.
Wow.
What do you want to just do like a research roll?
Membership has its perks.
Oh, right.
It's an actual result. So,
Okay.
and this is what is it? Plus 10. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9,
Okay.
10. Because I have 1D.
Oh,
so.
yeah. That's 9 plus 1 is 10. What's that say on a 10?
On a 10, roll. On a 10 plus, ask 2. On a 7, 9, ask 1. So I get to ask 2 questions off of this thing. Where can I'm going to ask who is close to them, someone that they trust and love. I'm going to find out someone that they value, and then where can I most likely find them are the 2 questions.
Okay. So the person who you need to get access from is Sil Varin. So S-I-L Varin, V-A-R-I-N. Sil Varin is the person who has access. And his husband is like not, it's like the equivalent of like a school teacher, right? So like not a high security access person.
Right.
And represents like the husband is his name is Leva, L-E-V-A. Leva is like teaches at a a school that's like senatorial kids and like higher up kids. So like the school has some security on it, but it's not like
Yeah, but it's civilian security.
yeah, it's not like ultimate database housing
Right.
all the secrets of the empire. So yeah, Leva Varin will be the one who's accessible to you. And what was it? You get 2 questions?
Those are the 2 questions. You told me who it was.
Yeah.
And you told me how to find them.
Yep.
And that's what I got.
Okay, good. I did it.
Yay.
And what are you up to?
I think Stitch has been really messed up by all of this.
I can't imagine why.
Right, like specifically the medical side of it, like the fact that brain surgery had to happen on all of us to make it work.
Not all of you.
Well, that's true. I would like to see if there's any way I can figure out a way to either medically or mechanically or something to deactivate
Remotely?
these chips
Yeah.
remotely. Something to where because if we come across troopers, I don't have to kill my brothers.
Yeah.
I want them to at least make their own choice on if they're going to try to kill me.
Yeah, okay.
So I want to see, and that's why I took the prognosis positive thing, where I can examine patients, and I have 3 of us. They just have gone through all this. So I don't know what you want me to, if that's okay to roll on that.
Yeah,
or
we totally
how you wanna do
can.
that.
Let's let's roll your canny.
You know what? These rooms are fucking really well designed. This game
Yeah,
is really
yeah,
well designed.
I really like it. This is by far my favorite Star Wars game.
Yeah.
It's quick. You can jump right into it. Like I haven't seen a Star Wars game that you could like make 3 characters in under an hour.
Yeah.
You know, like
Some people believe that in order to make a sci-fi game, there has to be a lot of crunch because that's what sci-fi. A lot of people relate to it. Not necessarily true.
No. Especially Star Wars.
Yeah, especially Star Wars.
Star Wars is
It's
only
space fantasy,
barely
really.
sci-fi. Yeah, it's space fantasy is a good way to describe it. Let's roll canny.
Okay.
I'm gonna try a couple different things. Yeah, let's start with that.
13.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah.
Okay, now
Please,
please
Thundercleese, you're kicking ass.
roll.
That's a big change from the earlier.
So now what I'm gonna do is you'll get advantage on your deep roll.
Okay.
because part of this is a piece of intuition, because there's nothing in the manual of
Right,
like
that makes sense.
how to deal with this.
Okay.
But you've studied 3 like broken, burnt chips, and able to like between the 3 of them glean some valuable information. So let's see how well you can put this together.
Actually, hold on. Before he does this, do you think Crank might be able to assist in that since he's actually trying to make a piece of technology to
Oh,
affect the thing?
yeah, probably. Do you want to roll for
Yeah, I'll
Crank?
roll for Crank.
Crank probably has like 2 canny.
I'm not changing this roll.
No, I'm just
Yeah, no, it's good.
6, 7, 8.
Okay, so you would get a +1 to whatever your
Awesome.
two
And
dice.
this is deep, you said?
Yeah.
Cool. So 11.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah. That's
You know
awesome.
what? Thing I would do if you actually made an actual play sheet for a clone trooper or a stormtrooper type person in this game, I think what they should be is that any member of their squad gets a free bonus to aid the other one.
Oh,
Assisting
yeah, 'cause
another
they're used
person
to working.
because they're
Yeah.
so connected they're
Yeah.
working using
That's
the
good
group.
call.
I'd probably let that be like an optional move.
Exactly, an optional
like,
move.
Yeah,
like-
you could take that move if you want it to
Yeah,
say
that's a
like,
good idea.
oh yeah, I'm so, like Crank probably wouldn't take that move, but
Right.
Yeah.
you know, a bunch of you would be
But I
like, oh
totally
yeah,
would.
I
Exactly.
want this move that says I automatically help, or maybe I help a clone trooper with +2 instead of +1.
Exactly.
So anyway,
It'd be cool.
cool. So you have devised a device that also doesn't look like a gun.
Okay, cool.
You know, it looks like a kind of a medical scanner, but if so, you can scan somebody, see if they have a chip, which most of the clone troopers you meet will. But also, if you can get it to the base of their skull, you'll be able to disable it. The chip will still be in their brain, and long term, they should probably have it removed.
Right.
But would certainly have an effect.
They still make their own choices.
Yeah.
Cool. It's like some kind of strong, focused EMP thing that has to be
Yeah.
at the base of the thing that
Yeah.
shoots out the thing.
Like a taser.
Yeah, it's like an ion gun, but focused.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. And I spent my 1 cred that I had to get 2 more stock.
Okay. Great.
If that's okay. Or is it more expensive here?
No, that's fine. My next question was, do we want to do anything to raise some cred to be able to like get more stock or get any other sort of?
I'm kind of cool with nebulously saying that we actually spent a lot of money doing stuff, but it's spent, and we did the stuff to get it, but it's spent.
Sure.
So it's just part of what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
And that so
Yeah, like you had to refuel, you had to get
exactly.
like
No, we
food
took.
and
I
supplies.
mean, we roughed up a couple of people for somebody for money. We stole a couple of things. We did some stuff. I
Yeah.
don't think there's much legitimate work that we'd be able to find, especially if we're trying to stay below board.
Yeah.
So I figured that part of the montage is us doing sort of like some shady shit to get a few creds to
Yeah.
get the
I
things
guess
we
I'm
need.
behaving like a Jedi shouldn't.
Yes,
Yes.
you are.
I do
Or-
like the idea of like us coming in with all this money and you looking at us being like, where did you?
Don't
I don't
ask.
want to know.
Yeah.
Don't ask,
Yeah.
man.
So part of the plan is so your like planetary governor ID. You don't want to bust that out right away, right? Like you want to use that to get into the building because
Right.
the minute that you activate it, the life lock system is gonna it's gonna be tracked immediately.
Yeah.
So that's like a into the end of the line. Use that to get in the building. So to get into the system, what your leads and all your like research, it actually looks like if you look like low-end smugglers who are supposed to bribe some officials, like that is the greased system that's in place. Is like, okay, you're not bringing in death sticks, but
Right.
you're bringing in some contraband. Low-level officials take bribes all the time, and that's actually less suspicious than you like. We are a pleasure cruiser, and we don't have to check in with anybody.
No,
Like,
it's sort of like an open level of corruption that everybody
Yeah.
understands, and if you don't understand that, you're suspicious.
yeah, it looks less suspicious to be slightly criminal.
Yeah.
So you eventually have to like secure a cargo of something moderately illegal. Let's say probably like unregistered blasters, right? So you have a small cargo in your hold of unregistered blasters, and you have generated some records of like your visits out on the rim, or maybe you actually had to spend some time, right? Like hopping around, logging transponder visits, so your fresh transponder doesn't look
Right.
fresh. So you put some miles on the odometer, and we come back around, and we're heading into Coruscant.
Question. So, the theory is we're going to go in as traders, right? But we have the same face.
I actually like the idea that our ship docks as a freighter, and you are the captain, and I will basically dress as a species that needs a rebreather mask, like an obese armor or something like that.
Okay. I like that.
And we'll be the crew. Everybody else basically just be hidden in the cargo compartment. We won't register them as actual crew.
Yeah.
Although I will say, even just walking around Coruscant specifically, most of the galaxy may not know what a clone trooper's face looks like. But
Right.
Coruscant, most people would say like, "Oh, well, you're a clone trooper. Why are you out of uniform?" Or what, like that sort of thing.
You,
So
you guys don't get time off on
Right.
the streets.
So we will need to address that in some way.
No, and I think that once we're actually there, we can basically put it in a situation where everybody can actually dress back up as their clone trooper, and we can go to a location where we're expected to be.
I would like to get a tattoo on my face.
Oh, okay.
Because I think the idea of just how everything has gone down, I want like something to distinguish me. And I hope that would, I also want it to be enough to where it's going to be like, this is not, most people glancing at me wouldn't recognize me as a trooper. Other troopers would.
But actually,
Like,
wouldn't that be
but-
cool that we as a unit
Oh,
did something like that,
yeah.
and each one of us got a distinctive thing,
Yeah.
but it was somewhat thematic throughout the
What
group.
if
so
it was
be
like
sick.
4 pieces that would fit together?
Yes.
If you like put them on a design,
Yeah.
but they're, like each of you have a
Like
different,
part of it.
I
Exactly.
love that. Yeah. That's sick.
Or maybe
Yeah.
it's 5 pieces.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you
Yeah,
feel about
oh,
that?
that'd be a
Yeah.
actual tattoo.
Yeah. All right.
Cool. I like that.
I like that too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
rad.
You've got your brand new criminal organization
Yeah.
coming together.
This is how it starts.
So this is what we do. We get a protocol droid. We call him Farce Placebo. He's the head guy in charge. Everybody kills him over and over again, but we just buy a new protocol droid. It's
Right,
perfect.
I like it. That's awesome.
All right. I think this is a good point for another quick bio break.
Okay.
And we'll be back in like less than 5 minutes probably.
Okay.
But I'll scoot over here and do the tech.
You did GM and produce.
Yep.
He wears a lot of hats.
That's right.
And okay. And we'll be back in just a few minutes. And we're back. Hello. Shimmy, shimmy, shake.
Really, the banana and the coffee would have been fine.
All right. So it's time to break in. The ship comes out of hyperspace in in the Coruscant system. You make your approach. You are contacted by the docking authority and are given the opportunity to explain yourselves. Who would like to make the bribery attempt?
Is that a cool check? What is
It'll be a suave.
Suave? C'est pas moi.
We're all awful at this.
Are any of the NPCs good?
No, although the use of force could be substituted in for as like a subtle mind trick.
Alright, I can take a wound for her vitality hit for some more force points.
Oh yeah, we have a Jedi with us. Never
Yeah.
mind.
I know, right?
We have Ryder Fiat.
Okay, we don't even have to roll this one. This is easy. I'm like, hey, you should accept our reasonable bribe.
Yeah.
Like, yep, I will accept your
We're
reasonable
not the
bribe.
ship you're looking for.
Yeah.
Nice.
And yeah, you transmit some money, and they direct you where to land, and they say it was a pleasure doing business with you. So
It's all mine.
you sit down at the dock. The docks are all, hello, we are pleased to receive your shipment of begonias. Thank you for bringing begonias to Coruscant. This is loudly proclaiming, pushing this cart out full of blasters. What's the next move?
Okay, so just spitballing here, and let me know if you think this is a great idea. But I would like for the shipment to actually be the clone troop. We're in there, and it's basically a shipment of medical supplies to the central sort of clone trooper police station area by the school and by the data center.
That's a good idea.
So then we'll go in there, we'll infiltrate, we'll change our symbols out for whatever units are active there, maybe subdue whoever's there and lock them away, take their role. Since we all look identical, we'll take advantage of the fact.
Yep.
And then we'll and I would say that I've already researched which units can be on patrol at the particularly advantageous time for our plan,
So-
and that's just part of the whole Ocean's 11 type of thing. Is that
Well, I would just say we don't look exactly identical anymore.
Yeah.
But
so
in-
we
but under
could
the
put
helmet,
makeup on. We could do not taking the helmet off thing.
makeup is fine because then we just put a base on whatever the tattoo is on our face.
Yeah.
and that's fine.
Okay, easy peasy. That
Yep.
works for everyone. And you're in stormtrooper gear now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Clone trooper.
Clone.
Oh yeah, clone trooper.
We haven't gone full Nazi yet.
That's good. What's fun? I've run this scenario a couple times, not as a one shot, but oftentimes the Jedi, they want to dress up in clone trooper armor, but like they're a Twi'lek,
Yeah.
or
Oh, yeah.
so somebody, or the what's the Darth Maul guy?
Dabrak.
Yeah, Dabrak. Or like nothing fits. This is not gonna work, and we had to come up with a different plan.
That's cool.
I'm just human.
Yep. So.
I always played a Rodian.
Oh yeah, they're fun too.
Yeah.
I tend to play Wookiees.
Yeah.
I didn't think of Wookiees.
Duros is my go-to usually.
So
So.
we had a game where we surprised the GM where everybody made a Wookiee. And it was like, everybody made their characters great, let's go. Wookiee, that's cool. Wookiee, two Wookiees. Fuck you guys!
At least
How are you
all
gonna talk to
understand each other.
anybody?
But you could understand each other.
Exactly.
Oh, you
You
did
get a
that
whole tale
without-
being like, oh.
You did that without talking to each other?
No, without talking to each other, every single person on that team.
Oh, wow,
And
that's-
there were 5 of us.
I thought you did it to
Oh.
fuck with your GM.
No, we
That's
actually that really
hysterical.
fucked with him. All right, great. Everybody made a
That's
Wookiee.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious. I love it. Okay, so we who's rolling the cart? Or
I'll roll the
Yeah,
card.
he'll-
yeah, okay. We get into the right part of the neighborhood. This is Coruscant. This is the planet-wide city, and you've got hover carts and low-flying ships. You've got like lanes that you're supposed to fly in, but you're going along through the concourse. You've got the hover push cart thing with your jack-in-the-boxes lined up there, and you make your way through the town for the most part. At one point we're going through, and this is so different from the treehouse, right? Like you left this place, and you've also hopped through several like smuggler havens on the outer rim, and just everyone's dirty and or at least underhanded, and everyone's got a blaster hidden in here. You've got like parents walking with their kids and playing in the park and buying ice cream. I don't know if we have ice cream and frozen blue milk and
Space ice cream.
Yeah, space cream is different.
We have Frogurt. We have Frogurt, but it's cursed.
Yeah, so it's just that it's not the sunshine and flowers because it's Coruscant, but it is like metropolitan. Wealthy neighborhood.
It's affluent and big. The affluent big city.
Yeah,
As long as we're not going down to like level 13 or something.
No. This is like
fun too.
Space Manhattan, right?
I played that game. 13.
I love the underworld of Star Wars.
Oh
It's
yeah,
the best.
it's really fun to explore,
Try Scum and Villainy is so great.
especially as former clone troopers.
Yeah.
So the you're passing through all these families, and you see a cadre of 4 clone troopers, 3 in helmets and 1, sort of like lieutenant without the helmet on. You know what ranks they, this is all you're in the army as of 2 weeks ago. So as they're coming towards you, you get a little bit of a twinge in the force.
Spidey sense.
It's probably nothing, but do you want to roll deep? No. So the reason why I'm asking is, if you roll and get a 6-,
Something that.
there are
Consequences.
things. There are things that will happen, or
It's like handing a gun to Jason.
or it could be nothing, and you just because here somehow they've tracked down a lot of Jedi. Maybe you don't want to reach out with your feelings because
I think I'm just gonna continue straight. Like, I belong there.
Sure.
I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do.
Metagame sense. Tingly.
Yep. Oh, you're like me. Spider-Verse is the most fun I've had in a movie theater in a long, long time.
I still haven't seen it.
Oh my god.
I wanna see
You
it.
must.
I know.
Okay, Spider-Verse are way better, but Shazam is also extremely fun.
Is it fun?
I have not seen
Oh.
It is a kids movie. Go into watching it as a kids movie.
Okay.
Like with like a Lilo and Stitchy
Oh, maybe
type
I'll
of
give it a
attitude.
shot.
But it's so tongue-in-cheek and fun.
Okay.
And if you've ever thought about if a teenager actually just got superpowers, it's a really good interpretation.
Okay.
I
All
was
right.
right.
That's fun.
Brightburn looks sick.
Okay, so we go right past these guys. They don't even look at you. They just are sort of marching in their little 4-man formation, and off they go. We get to a part of the town where you can see there's like a big I'll put air quotes around parking lot. It's like a space where like some speeders come in, and then there's also like a reserve space because you need to like bring a ship in, and then the shuttle takes off again. It's kind of reserved so you don't land on a speeder by accident. That's at the kind of main gathering, like senator, come in, drop off your kid, and then walk to the center, right? You can see it, but also like, I guess it's what time did you guys want to do this? Like, I guess while school's in session,
Yeah,
right?
that could be well schools.
Yeah.
So midday, approximately,
I would say early morning.
early morning.
Or do you want to catch him when he works? Like when he's going to work.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so early morning, you all lived on Coruscant for a long time, right? Especially if you spent a long time at the temple.
Yeah.
The Senate was never closed, right? But as you're coming in, it's early morning. It's still relatively dark. I mean, there's all the city lights, but the sun makes a difference. And it looks like the lights are off in the Senate, or at least most of them. And it's just weird enough that it would draw your attention. Like, never seen the building like that before. It's always just, blazing symbol of the Republic.
Yeah.
And
Being the central governing body, yes.
it is no longer like that.
But I think that the plan for this is we go, we come out of things, we get the uniform thing fixed up, and then we just show up at the school and just go, you have to come with us, please. Why? We've been instructed to escort you. Please come with us. No reason, just like total fucking imperial authority, just doing it.
Helmet on.
Helmet on, blasters the fuck out, going, you're coming with us. No choice. No, it's like, please come. No, you're coming with us.
Okay.
I'm gonna white band him.
Yeah.
All right. So so we're gonna go around the corner somewhere.
No, my plan. In the corner where?
Well, you're in a box right now.
Yeah.
How are we making the transition?
The way I pictured it is we actually got some back to tanks. We're in the crated up back to tanks. There's a false bottom on these things. So they put us where we need to be. We pop out of them in the storehouse, and then we start skulking special forces style.
Okay.
Nice.
So let's do. We need to get stealthy then.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. Let's have everybody do a cool roll. We're gonna act under pressure.
I'm so glad I spent so many points on cool.
I wish I would have spent more.
Same here. Especially with that roll.
Oh. But actually, you're not doing this with us.
No.
You have to be doing something else because you're not a clone trooper, right?
That's correct.
You were gonna dress up like a clone trooper.
Okay. Then I am.
Yeah, so I think he
just
parks the
wanna
thing,
make sure.
puts
It's all
on
good.
his armor,
great.
and
I forgot to buckle the buckles or something.
8.
4.
4 and a similar result. Okay.
3, yeah.
All right. Great. Huh.
And you probably for Chip.
Okay.
I'm actually much
we
happier.
need Crank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Threeser should stay with the ship.
Well, Threeser's the pilot, so if shit goes really back down, his instructions should dip in, pick us up, and get the fuck out.
Yeah. So he's prepared to do that.
That's perfect.
That's the thing where you all were like, no, this isn't a good escape plan because no one can fly through that.
Walking by with coffee, I can fight with that.
Yeah. But you probably won't need the emergency escape plan.
I did that on
This is
Geonosis.
perfect.
Yeah.
Not with the double fail we just had. No, everybody ever needs something.
Yeah.
I got no
the four
joke.
of you make it through the the kind of the storage facility. Came out, get dressed. Everything's fine, and everything's fine. You proceed out of the storage facility, and as you go, we see just in the corner of the view some little lights flick on.
There's one of those little eye droids, the ones that
Something.
Yeah, it's like me, and they're just watching.
Oh, fine.
It's probably unrelated.
Not completely unrelated.
Completely unrelated.
And you head out to where Leva will show up, and you actually see a shuttle that you're walking out of the storage facility. It's Kismet, the shuttle that you recognize the markings on it. This is the Varen family shuttle, and they land. Syl gets out, Leva, their son, and they kiss each other goodbye, and Syl heads off towards the Senate. Like, oh, that's interesting. All right. Not a lot going on at the Senate, but apparently Syl has something to do there. And Leva sends their child off to his part of the school, and Leva is heading towards the offices. So and the shuttle is gone. Their pilot's off. So what's next?
We basically just all right, walk like I taught you.
Like the white shape is
behind
right
them,
behind
and then
going here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So carbine, pistol. We're and I have the officers banding on me, and I go. Leva Varen, right? Is that
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Leva Varen.
Oh yes, Trojaners are taking in 4 armored officers. Yeah.
You will come with us.
What is this about?
You will come with us immediately.
Well, I feel like I'm owed some kind of explanation.
And then at that point, the two people right behind me, guns up.
Yeah.
You will
It's
come
like-
with. You will come with us.
What is the meaning of this? And he's sort of like going along with you, but is making a stink. You know, like.
Sir, please do not force me to restrain you.
Well,
Sir, we could just stun him. Like, super like...
please roll suave. You are applying leverage.
This is fine.
Oh no, it's not. We're going to cause a scene.
This
'cause
is
that's
fine.
This is
3.
great.
Oh, a 3. Okay.
No,
You
4.
have
Sorry,
minus
4. I'm
two?
minus 1.
Okay,
I'm 4.
okay. Minus 1, 4. Oh my.
This is fine.
You know what? It's boring conversation anyway. Stella.
Oh yeah. Okay. Actually, before we get there,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with we have the experimental clone trooper help move, right? So if you would like to roll aid, all right.
Okay.
If you succeed, you'll give him a +2.
To make it a 6.
Still isn't a 7.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind. That was
Yeah,
a real
that's
bad
fine.
roll.
That's all right. We
That
just,
was
it's
very
just a bad
bad.
roll. We'll just deal with it, man.
We're just going to drag his lifeless body, or
No,
a knocked out body, I
So,
should say.
so what does he do at that point? 'Cause we're trying to intimidate him, and his white privilege probably bleeds through.
Yeah, the rich privilege
Right.
is strong with this one, and but what happens is, look, my husband's gonna hear about this, and he turns around and sort of falls in, but unfortunately, what you miss is the communicator in his hand that he clicks.
That's
and,
fine.
and
That works.
Is just holding his
Makes
hands in
sense.
front of him like this and walking along, and he's got the communicator in his fist, and that's my move.
All right.
I don't like that you've had 2 hard moves and been like, nothing happens. 3 hard moves. Sorry, 3 hard moves. And nothing's happened.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fine.
I'm not
Oh,
anxious at
something
all.
happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just don't know what it is.
That's
It's
fine.
in the Apocalypse World MC section. This would be called announcing future badness.
Right. That's great.
No, there's more tension to be built by
Yeah.
not saying what's
I
going
agree.
on.
Right.
Yeah.
But we don't need a running gun battle yet.
Yeah.
Right. Yet.
So, we head off. So where are we taking this guy?
So we go down to one of the lower sections, and
Oh, I forgot. There was a quick do you know who I am? There we go. That's all. I just need to get that out.
Right.
Of course we knew you are. You used your name.
Yeah. It's the bad question.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
so once again, spitballing. You're ready with like a tranquilizer,
Mm-hmm.
and we have paid some people to set up a crate, and we're basically by a FedEx Kinko's.
uh-huh.
Tranquilize the guy. We take a few pictures of him to prove that we have him for the thing, and then we just ship him to the other end of Coruscant.
What is that the plan?
I love that idea. Yeah, for sure.
Nothing happens to him. He just goes somewhere else, and he's hard to find for a day and a half.
I think
I
we
love-
should put him in a bacta tank and ship
There
him
you
back
go.
to tank.
I
So
love
it's
that
like he has
plan
all
too. And this morning you paid the people who were supposed to bring the crate there, and
It's not there.
it's not there.
Yeah.
But you also haven't tranked him yet either, so
Right.
he's not like. But yeah, you kind of walk around the side of the Space Kinko's, and like, oh no. There's no sign of it either. It's not like coming by late. You're
Right.
right on time, and you paid a fair amount of money for these guys to just like show up and do a thing because they knew they were going to put a body in there. Like,
Assholes.
yeah,
Never trust bothans.
so
I
here.
like that. Sir, we could take him to the ship.
What is going on? I demand to know. Oh,
Good
I'm
night.
done dealing with this asshole.
yeah. All right.
And none of us
Sorry.
catch him as he falls to the
Yeah,
ground.
he
We're like,
collapses
yeah,
in the
that's
alleyway.
It's just casual, just don't even. I'm just like, and then we just continue with this situation.
Yeah.
We're just talking
Yeah.
about, well, what are we gonna do now?
Well, we have the pass. Do we need him anymore? Do we need him?
he's our leverage to get the information we need for the data code entries that we need to pull out of that.
Yeah, the governor access is going to get you in the building, and Crank can hack some of this, but it's going to be very, very difficult if we can't get Sill's access codes.
All right. So basically, I start going through the body, and I'm going to sort of tie up the hands and legs and put like a piece of tape over the mouth. To take his communicator as well, his identification.
Oh yeah, when he
stuff.
drops, the communicator rolls out of his hand, and that's maybe a minor concern. Is it like
Like the red lights on, like it's been recording,
well,
or
like you see
transmitting?
his thumb come off the transmitter, right?
Awesome.
As it like click, rolls, and then you hear, Leva, are you there?
Crunch.
Yeah, I was saying like.
Boring conversation.
Boring conversation anyway. I was like, all right, change your plan. We call the shuttle back down.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah,
Call the shuttle.
we'll call
Shuttle.
we'll call Freezer.
Okay.
And have him just come up and collect this guy.
Okay. So bringing a freighter in here is a big deal because it's not really a shuttle. It's
Right.
a.
This is like civilian traffic. This
Right.
is not.
We should
Right.
hold off on that then. Maybe we should just tie this guy.
It's
to
not
the
impossible,
corner.
right? Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it'll be.
But if we need a quick escape route.
That's true. No, okay, we can't really pull that trigger yet because you're right. It is a
Right.
big deal. We can't. It's like landing a Cessna in the middle of the 405.
Right.
Yeah, it'll
Sir-
draw some attention.
Yeah.
Not impossible, but complicated.
Sir, I think I could drug him to be out for a while. We could just literally stick him in a hotel.
Is there like a coffin hotel?
Probably. Yep.
That's
The like executive commuter hotel.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah. And we'll do that. Basically, we'll just tie him up. We'll drug him and stuff him in there.
Okay. You can either roll canny or spend one stock and not have to roll.
I will roll canny.
Okay.
And I want to make sure that Crank goes over all of them, make sure there aren't any transmitters
Yep.
on him, and if there are, to jam him or destroy him.
Wow.
And the pendulum swung back, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
I think we killed this guy.
Actually, it's a 5 with my 2 that I rolled.
Cool.
It's not
Fine.
good.
But I think he's out cold,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
He's out. Look at him.
Oh yeah, he's not even moving at all. Not even his chest. Oh well.
You know what? +3, I'm like, this would be fine.
This is fine.
This is fine.
No, it could very well be that this guy had an allergy to whatever thing you were putting in, and we just didn't know.
Oh, sure, we could have killed him.
Yeah.
Crank does in fact find a safety locator.
Yeah.
That is, gonna get rid of that, and he just crushes it. So.
Oh no, we put it on a delivery vehicle. We just throw it on there.
I'm gonna use one of my hard moves and say he crushed it before
Sounds
anyone
good.
suggested that.
Sounds good.
Because he found it, was like, oh crap! Well, you're like, no, we can.
Oh, never mind.
no.
Okay.
You have so many hard moves, you have to have a checklist right now for us? Okay, great.
Oh man, if hard moves require Excel, you know that the game has gone south.
Yep.
This is fine.
Just kill us now.
Yeah, this is great. But in the interest of transparency, I have 2 left.
Dude, this is freaking great. I love it.
I didn't see how many. It was just like, you're like,
It isn't a high situation if there aren't random complications.
Right.
That's what's awesome about
Right,
it.
no, I agree.
Exactly.
It's good.
Well, we can just go up to Sill's office.
We think we have this under control.
Yeah, we think we have this under control.
Yeah.
And now that we have the image of the kidnapped victim, we transmit the ransom thing through the pattern that we were going to do that's hard to trace or whatever. Because I'm assuming that we had a bunch of this already pre-planned.
Yeah.
And we
Frank
send
has it.
we send that this are the terms your husband will be returned to you once we have verified that you have given us this information.
Sure.
Right.
I imagine that's timed as well to be after you get inside.
Exactly.
Because then you want him to contact you, like, how dare you? I'm not going to. You're like, well, we're already here, so you can give us the information or not. And yeah, okay. So we're going to head to the actual facility, data storage facility, and it is, of course, an unnecessarily tall tower. It is a round building, maybe 50 stories tall, right? It's just like
Short and
skyscraper.
horizontal.
And as you approach the building, you have your governor's ID. No problem. No one even. There aren't guards outside. Right? This isn't like a thought of as a high security facility, aside from like this very difficult scanner to get in. And you just go, whoop, bling, green lights, door opens, 3 of you go inside. And inside,
4 of us, right?
Four. Yes, correct. Is with you. Inside is the building is mostly hollow, right? And it's round and has like all of these blinking sections that are about the size of the end of a shoebox, right? Like if you plug shoeboxes into all of these, and it's 50 stories of that on the inside of like all these blinking lights, and there are these like rotating elevator like lift things, right? So there's like 2 or 3 of those that people are like.
Seen in Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Right.
And there looks like there's a couple technicians, but one is 20 stories up and one is 30 stories up, and like no one's noticed you come in. So, what's next?
We basically trigger the blackmail system and send the message, and we make it very clear that very, very, very bad things will happen to his husband if he doesn't reply immediately to what we want.
Okay, so right, he's supposed to like live contact you. Like
No, he's supposed to basically set. We have an encrypted channel that we set this to him in.
it takes more than 10 seconds to tell you the code.
You can start now.
Oh, okay. And he's like giving you this long string of characters.
I'm figuring Crank is basically at the terminal, basically entering the code as we're applying it.
Marking one of my heart moves.
Okay.
The code goes in, and a series, like a whole block of maybe 100 shoeboxes lights up as like, oh, your search query is here, and lights up all this like contiguous sets of blocks, and the one of the technicians looks down and like, what whose requisition is that? And like just yells like 15 stories down. Like, that's not efficient communication, but it's a Rhodian who can actually speak basic. Like,
okay.
A lot of times they're
Okay.
not physically able to do that, but this
Small
guy
enough big words.
has this like high pitch, like just cutting voice that like,
New Imperial business, sir.
well, I'm gonna need to see some ID, and like turns to his control pad and like, like, no,
Okay,
go
so-
down.
He's going to do that. I'm just going to activate my jump pack. And I'm going to go the fuck up there.
All right, what's your plan?
My plan is to basically grab him, pin him up against the wall, and says, I said Imperial official business.
Let's roll suave with advantage.
Okay.
Yay, advantage at least.
I know, right?
He is
So
right
that's-
for it.
Hey, there you go.
There you go, that's a 10.
Okay.
These numbers.
All right, that is very good. Yeah, he just wilts, and it's like, I'm sorry, I forgot about the new protocols. Please.
I basically look at him and I take his badge, ID badge, and I put it in my belt. And
Do you know who I am?
No, I'm sorry. I mean, if I could just, and he's like, pulls money out of his pocket, and like, I understand there's probably a fine associated with my behavior, and I apologize. I'd like to pay my fine.
And I take the cred and I give him back his badge. And I put him down and I go,
Right. And the other guy upstairs, the other like tech is looking like.
and I look up to him and it's like, almost like, look, if I'm gonna get in trouble from you too.
And just like puts his hands up like it's a human guy like
Yeah.
no, and the Rhodian is like. Whoop, like goes up and is explaining, and they hug each other. But we have a lot of work to do up here, and they're like up at level 48.
Yeah.
Like, we're very busy.
Oh, I suggest you get to it.
Before long, Crank explains. Okay, the boxes are primed. We just have to remove them,
Okay.
and we'll be ready to go.
How long is that going to take?
Well, we've only got one people mover, and there's like 50 of them.
I go to the people mover and just start going up
Yeah.
and like hoping just
That's like, do it as quickly as you can.
Okay.
like I'm literally pulling them out and throwing them behind me to like
Uh-huh.
you on the ground, just like whoa, 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 fast as I can pull
No,
them.
actually, I got a wastebasket. I removed the top, and I'm basically catching them with this wastebasket.
Yeah.
I have a better idea.
What?
Well, each one's,
Oh, there you go. That's what we're talking about.
Oh shit! You're gonna use your Jedi powers.
Yeah.
And shit's gonna go down.
Let's.
This is why I like having Jedi on the crew.
Yeah. If you just wanted to grab one at a time, we don't have to roll anything. But I'm betting you want to grab a bunch of them.
I don't want to grab a bunch
Okay. Your basket's going to fill up right away because they're all, the size of a big shoebox or like a safe deposit box
Right.
at the bank. It's
Right.
like a big, thick
Yeah,
safe
like
deposit
they're
box.
like server blades.
Yeah, but bigger,
But
right?
bigger.
Look, unnecessarily large.
Oh, it's Star Wars.
Star Wars technology. So there's probably like tapes inside of it.
Right. Steam.
Yeah.
For no goddamn good
All
reason.
right. So let's spend one of your force holds, and we'll roll deep. This is gonna be rad.
Hopefully. That's not so rad. 7.
7. Okay.
All right.
The one
what's-
in my
what's it
hand,
say
like
on
just
that?
out of my hand.
7
What?
for your use of force thing.
It's incomplete, lacking flutter constitute.
Okay. So as you pull these, you are you're not able to grab a whole bunch of them at once, but you're like machine gunning them out, and they're sailing across, and you're not really noticing that they're smashing into the opposite wall, and that's like lighting up like damage alerts as you're like, whoop, whoop, whoop. You get through like 20, 25 of them before anyone's like, wait.
What the fuck is going on? And how many do we have? Other
you-
than the 25 that have been basically destroyed.
You got like 40 of them. There's just a few of them left.
Okay.
And Crank says, we have company.
The ones that are left, I hit them all with the ion thing to just erase them.
Okay.
And then it's like, all right, what do we got coming in?
All right.
Yeah.
So that's going to take you a second. 'Cause
Yeah.
There's a bit of that to do, but the
Right.
ion weapon's the right tool for the job. For you two, Crank is like has a security monitor up next to his other thing that he was working on, and you can see like at least half a dozen troopers outside. Maybe it's hard to tell exactly.
Okay.
Alright.
Crank, do we need to do anything else? Any more tech stuff that you guys need to do here? Or are we just need to get out?
We're good when that's done. Like he's like taking these shots. So
Okay. Let's call in the cavalry and get the heck out of here.
All threes are.
Yeah.
okay.
Call them in.
When you do, it seems like your signal is not getting out of the building.
That's fine.
Like the two of you hear the of the transmission, but it's not going. You're not getting any response.
Alright.
For the three
We
of
have
you.
to do this the hard way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
And now the door is open.
Do I think so? Would I think that jamming would be maybe less at the 50th floor to where I might be able
That's
to
what
get
I was
out?
thinking. I was like,
Or
try to fly
do
up
I
to
think
the
that
top.
jamming is like one of those things where it's gonna be like this whole block is shut down?
Well, this building is probably like security jammed, right? For this reason.
I like this hotel.
So yeah.
God, that's the truth.
The top of the building probably the same amount. I mean, unless you could get out the top, like if there's some sort of access to the roof and get outside the building, but you can't actually tell from here. 50 stories is a long ways, and it's sort of almost hazy that far away. So if you can get outside the building that way, yes, that would be helpful. But just being higher up isn't going to help.
Okay. Sir,
I
do
can
we
make
want?
an exit at the top.
Oh, that's true.
Sir,
Yeah.
should we make a break for it to the surface and try to hope that we can get a hold of him up there, make her stand on the roof?
I'm gonna shoot up there and see if I can call him in. Make your way up.
Aye, sir.
Okay, so you rocket up.
Yeah.
All right.
And then we all jump on the people mover.
Well, also the doors have slid open, and these troops are taking up, positions, and now they're just shooting. And here, unfortunately, it's these are clone troopers. This is dangerous.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna get in front of Crank and Stitch and get them on the thing, and I'm just gonna take a position in front of them and try and block what I can.
So much for talking, and then I
All right.
take off to.
So you and Crank are on the levitation platform, right?
Right, and we're like on it, like ready for him to, and like I want to like move it over towards him to where he can make the quickest jump to us.
Sure.
And,
Yeah, because he's not as mobile as he used to be. So.
Right.
You swing over there. Let's do act under pressure for you, as you're piloting a strange vehicle.
8.
Okay.
Because action pro is cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 8.
Okay, so you dash over there. You sort of like you're trying to get low so you can hop on.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh no!" And because you're coming in really fast, right? And you just hit him with the safety rail, and he like tumbles it like head first onto the thing.
Gotcha.
Flat. It's just in the thing with you now. But the thing dips and scrapes the concrete floor, and bangs against the wall, and then you're like, "Oh no, go up, 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 up!" And it goes up. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. And we see the underside of this thing, like sparking
Awesome.
and smoking, but you don't realize
Where the hell's
it.
Threeser? This is his job. Like,
and yeah, you get about a quarter of the way up, and Crank's like, do you smell something? He's like trying to get to his feet because he's kind of like banged around a little bit.
Nice.
But he's in armor. He's not injured. He's just like, oh my god. And then went, ass over tea kettle, and anyway. You're flying up to try to blast a hole in the roof?
Yes.
Okay. Let's roll rugged. We get to go in blazing, finally. I think this is our first rugged roll.
Yeah, I know. It's like my one non-dub stat.
Oh, I think we had one when Crank was shooting at you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When Crank went crazy. So 5, 6, 7, 8.
8. Okay.
quick question.
Yeah.
Did we pick him up? Did we pick up?
No.
No,
No, we didn't.
he stayed back.
No, he's on the floor deflecting blaster bolts all over the
Got it.
place.
Okay.
We're hoping he can Jedi his way up there in some way, shape, or form. Okay, but yeah, 8.
Okay. On the 8, you are you make your way up there, and you're real focused on what you're doing. Automatic fire blasting through. If you had an E-web, this would be no problem, right?
Yeah.
All the cosmetic components of the roof, like the AC and the wiring, you blast through that, and then you realize oh, this is security barrier, reinforced plasteel, right? Is the inside of this thing, which your blaster is not going to be able to penetrate. So you've made through, and you know for sure that there's a success in that I'm not going to get anywhere with this tactic, but the 7 to 9 is you're not going to get anywhere with the tactic. So and you're about probably 30 floors up, so you're a little ahead of them, and you're close enough to see oh, that's not actually doing anything. And the two techs are over on 48, huddling. There are two levitation platforms that are next to each other. They're like, oh my god, what's happening?
Nice.
This job was boring. I liked it boring.
No, do Crank and I see that as we're going up?
Yeah.
Okay. And we realize that it's not going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, unless you had a heavier weapon.
Are there any windows on near the top
No,
floor?
this is
there's
like
also
an above ground bunker.
Okay.
Awesome. I hit the button to go down, and just as fast as I can, right back down to the ground. I don't know if the thing's going to explode on me or whatever, but I'm going back down.
Okay.
And
Down is fine.
yeah, and I say in the mic, it's we're not going to cut it. We need somebody who will. And I'm going to go back down and try to get him up there.
I am.
Well, hold on. I want to come back to
Yeah,
our
please,
our Padawan here.
Yep.
Deflecting blaster bolts left and right. You hear the blaster fire's not getting through the roof. Let's do a quick act under fire. Just dealing with all these blaster bolts. Act under pressure. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna have you take 2 harm,
Okay.
but you're still in vitality,
Still in
right?
vitality.
Okay. And now let's do your action.
Alright, so I got all these guys shooting. How many of those? You said half a dozen?
Yeah, at least. It's hard to, like, only the 6 of them can shoot in at the same time, but if there were more of them, they're probably just hanging back, because they're going to shoot each other if they try to,
And there's how many of those little safety deposit box things around?
hundreds.
Oh, just throwing it at him.
Oh, that's cool.
Awesome.
I love that.
Okay.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that's good. Let's roll deep. Are you spending your hold for big telekinesis? Yeah, I like it.
That's sick.
That is so great.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really cool imagery in this game.
Okay.
Yeah, legitimately.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you blast things over there. The most of them are arcing down and aiming and just shooting right out the doorway, and the clone troopers there have to scatter. You knock a couple of them over, but for the most part, they scatter, and there's a pile of like 100, data blades there.
Is there a way that I could take advantage of this chaos and do something?
Well, you're still
I'm
way
I'm
up.
just
Yeah.
fly
You're
down.
coming down. So we'll figure out what happens here first.
Yeah. No,
but-
I'm just saying when you're done describing that.
Yeah. So what I'm picturing is this just pile of data blades is blocking the door.
Mm-hmm.
So the medium success is one who didn't actually take out any of the troopers, but they also can't get in.
Yep.
So, or at least they're going to have to blast away. And these things are reinforced as well, right? Like if they couldn't have gotten the door open, you would have been all safe too. But they have clearance, so
Right.
So you made a new door, and you're descending, and you just see this boom. You actually have to dodge a couple of them, and the door is just jammed full of data blades now.
But
Bought us
basically,
some time.
what I
Let's
want
get
to do is
out
I
of
want to zoom in. I want to find a guy that's basically trying to dodge those a trooper, basically land, sort of kicking him, grab his helmet, and then jump back to where the guys are.
Ooh, I think the fact that the door's jammed up is gonna make that impossible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all outside now.
Yeah,
They've all
yeah,
been
yeah.
blocked
They were
outside.
all leaning in to shoot in.
Okay, I
through
didn't know
the
whether there
door.
were a few that were inside that were still sort of.
Yeah, they didn't want to come in and expose themselves. So
All right.
that's the flip
It's like
side
a pile.
of this.
Yeah, it's like a pile of hard drives
Right.
covering that door.
Yeah.
So we have a temporary resolution to the current problem.
Yes.
Very temporary, but a resolution nonetheless.
Yes.
They might not have blasters.
And I'm like, getting through this building isn't going to be an option, sir. At least not without any heavy weaponry. What we need to do is contact Freezer. Do you think you could reach out to him?
I can try.
Yeah, so I mean, you could try to reach out. You could try to
What about a
cut a hole
lightsaber?
with your lightsaber.
Yeah.
It's
You just
up
get
to
the
you.
transmitter out. You can just
It's up to you how you want to
yeah.
handle it. You know, he has a suggestion.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of tools at your disposal. So
All right. Well, first things first. I guess we'll try the wall.
okay, so we're gonna go up to the ceiling or go out the side
Still
or
the side.
Okay, so we'll go opposite side of the door. They're not gonna expect anyone to come out
Yeah,
that way for
right.
sure. And you've pulled out all the storage things. So yeah.
I extend the lightsaber as long as it'll go. And
Yeah.
Just shove it in.
The wall does not dodge. you have successfully started carving into this thing. Let's do a rugged roll though, just for the effort that this requires of
Just like we saw Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn trying to get through those blast doors.
Right,
They-
That's a 7.
They did it. It just
Okay.
wasn't easy.
yeah.
Right.
So
I liked that, actually.
with a 7,
So did I.
you are cutting through it. It's not going as fast as you want. You realize this is reinforced duracrete. Oh my god. So you're getting it. You've got about a quarter of the way through so far, but it's happening.
I was like, all you gotta do is open up something big enough to put a transmitter through.
Worked it at it.
Yeah, it's sizzling and dripping, molten concrete
Yeah.
and metal bits or the frame that all
There's
the
the stink of
drives were-
ozone coming from the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah,
thing.
Sure. All the fried electronics and just cutting through all these layers of BS.
Right.
Can I park my vehicle in front of all the hard drives?
Oh, well, I wanted to come back to your descent. Because I have a soft move that I'm going to make. Is the levitation component is failing,
Right.
And you have the opportunity to try to like pull up or roll out of this or somehow recover. As you're coming down, you're going to like, okay, slow. Oh no.
Gotcha.
What is your immediate reaction?
I think
And this
because
is
I'm not
the floor's coming up
right.
fast.
Because I'm not a tech, I'm gonna be like, crank. Do you see this?
I don't think he's gonna have enough time to react.
Okay, then I'm going to.
He's frightened now.
I'm gonna grab him and I'm gonna try to like jump off onto like one of like something to like try to like push
if you jump out and grab like the frames that these because most of them are empty at this point.
Right.
You can grab onto the like like the
that's what I wanna
lattice
do.
that all these things plug into.
The rack.
Yeah, the rack. Thank you. That's the word I wanted.
Yeah, that's totally what I want to do.
How's your rugged?
Awesome. Not really.
It's super the
Medic?
greatest.
My rugged is fantastic.
I think it's the right tool for the job, though.
Yeah, I do too.
To apply leverage? No.
Yeah. No. Well, in a very
But
In a very
political,
physical way.
in a mechanical
Yeah.
sort of way.
Yeah,
yes.
it says when you apply leverage, political, financial, physical, or sexual.
Hey, there you go. It's all good. Okay, you want rugged?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be bad. That's a 4.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay. You grab Crank as he's like, wait, how do I fix it? So he's like totally off balance,
Yeah.
right? As you pick up this dead weight and jump and grab, and the thing just like tears away, right?
Yeah.
You go through several layers of this as two bodies are trying to hold on to like one grip point.
Yeah.
And you just and you crash to the floor. I think that's your arm. Your armor will be able to take some of this. So
Right.
It's probably
While I'm caring for people during battle, but not fighting, you get +2 armor.
oh okay that's good.
Okay, cool.
This has to be at least 4 harm.
Right, that's kind of what I
Our
expect. I'm
armor
like,
is
this is
2.
gonna hurt.
If he has the same armor as I do it's an armor. No, it's 1 because we have to jump back.
Yeah.
So it's an armor of 1 plus his extra, so he has 3. So you take 1 by.
Well, I don't think
Yes.
I have 1 armor, do I? Because I'm wearing. I'm
Uh,
pretending I'm a
equip-
medic.
The medic
no,
armor
medic
may
armor.
not be as heavy
Medic
as,
doesn't-
yeah.
as what you have.
No, it's standard clone trooper armor should be at least a 1. Though,
Well,
overall.
I think that's the like advantage of the medic thing is that
Yeah.
like, they're light and they have like a lot of equipment
Yeah.
and you know that
Yeah,
sort of
I'd
thing.
say I probably
so-
have like flipped out like.
it's
your
more
thing
it's more
for
concentrated on
stuff.
storage all the things they
Right.
want instead
Yeah.
of protecting
Exactly.
them.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they're not supposed to be in the direct line of fire. So, but yeah, I think that 2 is good, and so you'll take 2.
Okay, so
Um,
just 2 vitality, or
Yeah,
I
if
mean,
you
it's
have
all-
vitality open,
yeah,
then that's fine.
I'm unhurt until right now.
Although I am going to have you roll with only +0. I'm going to have you roll suffer wounds, even though you suffered 0 wounds. But
Yeah.
so this is the one where you want to roll low again.
Great.
So keep doing what you're doing.
Right, that's gosh.
6.
6.
Okay, good.
Wait, 6 plus my 2 vitality.
No,
hits?
+0.
Oh, +0. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
So
6.
that's good. Nothing worse happens.
Okay.
I mean, Craig also took 2 wounds, but you two just splat. And,
Okay.
You know, like there's like cracked armor pieces. As you,
Right.
You know.
I like the idea of my helmet breaking off. Is that cool?
Yeah, I think that's good. Like your
Okay.
visor's like, you know,
Right.
like throw off your helmet and it like smokes and pops.
Okay,
You know.
cool.
And
my makeup rubbed off so you can see my my
yeah,
tattoo?
you're all sweaty and
Yeah. Okay, cool.
your
I
tattoo's
like that.
showing through.
Sweet.
And, yeah, that's rad. And so all of you are down on the floor, right?
Yeah.
You were descending, and you have now progressed about halfway through. And if so now like the first part that we cut through towards the floor has cooled enough, you could probably, if you held your transmitter up to that gap, you might be able to reach it.
Well, I'm just gonna hit the distress, which is the 1 button. Just bug out, fucking now, and just stick my arm off and print that. But
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's fine.
And it says it transmits?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. You get the reply, like the automated reply of like, yep, incoming, and you keep carving. You manage to get this the rest of the way open. Kick the thing down, and as you come out, you hear the shouts of like there were more clone troopers coming along, and they see this back section like boom of like 10-inch thick
Right.
and they're like trying to change direction and come in, but you're actually like coming out kind of in a little bit of a tree, like
There's
a
some
park.
cover.
Yeah, there's like trees and shrubs, and you're dashing out of here. You've destroyed all the data that you came to destroy, and as you're kind of limping through the park because Crank is hurt, like his knee's hurting now, and he's
I am like on one arm, kind of helping him out, kind of thing.
I think we're gonna need to figure out. So your ship comes in at the far end of the park where there's enough room for the space turtle to get in there, and there's you're blasting. There's like bushes smoldering as blaster fire's going off, but there's an open space you're gonna have to cross to get to the ship. So if you just run out there, you're gonna get mowed down. We need a plan.
So it's just a big open area, and all like the chrome troopers like
It's
stand
not
there like
it's
pull.
not a big
like,
open space, but it's enough. It's 60, 70 feet of like, if you run out there, they're just gonna have uninterrupted line of sight to,
I'm gonna turn to these two and say, get to the. I want to say get to the chopper.
get to the job.
And then I am gonna ignite the lightsaber, and I'm gonna dash out there.
That is outstanding cover.
That's awesome.
Roll deep.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with him.
Okay.
And I'm like, the job is done. You guys get the hell out of here.
12.
Ooh.
Oh, game on.
Okay.
Because I have unstoppable. When I suffer wounds, I treat a 10 plus as a 7 to 9, and a 7 to 9 is a miss.
Oh. Okay.
So this is sort of like my thing. I'm supposed to be the tank out in
Okay,
front.
so a bunch of these shots, you're not just blocking them, you're sending them back, right? You've had enough of these guys. Are you going for killing blows or no? Okay, just spin them around, hit them in the arm, all that sort of thing. Okay, and
So basically, I have my carbine in one hand, I have my pistol in the other, and I
Yeah.
just sort of like,
yeah,
and I just strike right and just get back.
all
and
right.
just keep going.
Let's roll
Basically
rugged.
the plan. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay. You're blasting away. You're taking a couple hits, but between your armor and your unstoppable, your 10 plus, right? You're just like, they're like diving out of the way because they're more concerned than you would be.
Right.
And you managed to clear enough room. These two who are not moving as quickly, you help Crank get onto the ship,
exactly.
and then the two of you are able to duck out.
Yeah. No, I think the ship is sort of going away.
Yeah.
I jump back onto him. He sort of does that Jedi jump on.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
I'm the last one out the
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just jump up and it's just you holding on to the landing gear with your lightsaber on, looking at the devastation
Yeah.
below.
The music swells. And,
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's
Yeah, that's
how
it.
works.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was super fun.
Thanks, guys. I'm glad we got to do this.
Yeah, me too. Well, we said we wanted to play a game together this
Yeah.
con, and we actually did it. So
yeah,
it's good.
and
It was really
this
cool.
is by far my favorite Star Wars system. Oh, there's a phone in the corner.
I will so be getting this. 'Cause
And,
I really, really like this a lot.
Yeah, if you want, I don't think he put his name on here, but Andrew Medeiros, I think it's at Phaelorn, PHEYLORN. I hope that's it. Otherwise, tweet at me if you really want to know, and I'll look it up for you. But he's got a bunch of projects. You know what? This was up at Google Communities.
Oh.
I found a recent link to this actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yesterday.
Not
I was
at
looking
Google?
for it. Not at Google, but I had
Okay.
to find it through Reddit. So like I searched on Reddit for it, and I
Okay.
found a link that was not the
Okay,
Google.
cool.
Community one.
Also, I have the PDF in my library of stuff. So it's super good. I really like it.
I'd like to throw
Thanks,
a
guys,
few
for-
bucks at whoever made this.
Yeah,
Um,
same.
Yeah,
Really
yeah,
good.
he has a Patreon, I think,
Yeah,
for
that's
his
perfect.
independent
That
projects.
works.
So, but yeah, thanks, guys. I think
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It was super fun, Jason.
Yeah,
Thanks for
thank
doing
you.
this. It was awesome.
as I tear the table apart.
Bye,
Uh,
everybody.
Bye.
Bye. May the force be with you.
And also.